Should these incidents prompt a rethink of security measures in hospitals and clinics? Let's also examine the existing channels for reporting grievances in the health sector and how they can be improved. Meanwhile, the dancehall king and dancehall star Shatta Wale is faced to a $4 million fraud case involving the Ghanaian national Nana Kwabena Amoah, now serving an 86-month jail term in the US. Does this development raise broader questions about celebrity accountability and the tracing of illicit wealth? Also on the table this morning, the special prosecutor has put forward a bold proposal, a dedicated chapter in Ghana's constitution to combat corruption. This new chapter would provide clear constitutional definition of corruption and mandate robust anti-corruption measures in both the public and private sectors. But will this initiative be a game changer or merely add another layer of bureaucracy? In agriculture, despite the 64% hike in cocoa producer prices, farmers remain dissatisfied, threatening to smuggle beans to neighboring countries in search of better offers. What's driving their discontent? And what implications does this have for Ghana's cocoa industry? Then we'll finish off with the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, the GTEC, who have launched a crackdown on fake academic titles and accredited institutions, which has sparked the national debate. The problem is deep-seated, with many individuals acquiring and parading honorarium or honorary doctorate degrees and fraudulent academic certificates from questionable institutions. This and many more we will discuss this morning. As usual, it's an early morning, and this morning we are on Current Agenda, your weekend companion. Let's get started and let's dig into these issues and discuss with you the minds of what pertains. Current Agenda comes to us proudly sponsored by Bank of Africa. Bank of Africa understands that we all need some financial quick fix every now and then. Whether it is school fees, replacing that old refrigerator, or fixing the car engine to get back on the road. The Bank of Africa Quick Fix Loan Package was made with you in mind. Seize the opportunity and let your tough times make way for that soft life that you've been dreaming about. Visit any Bank of Africa branch near you today and enjoy your unbeatable low interest rate, flexible terms, and straightforward application process. Call the Bank of Africa on 0302 429 333 or 0302 246 690, or chat with Fafa. For more information, you can also check them on their website and be advised that terms and conditions apply. Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by Bank of Africa, the African bank with global reach. Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner.
This August, Africa's raw football fire ignites again. From August 2nd to 30th, 19 nations clash in a battle for pride, power and continental glory in the 2024 African Nations Championship. Hosted across Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda, the heart of East Africa will shake as local-based talents rise to represent the badge. 44 thrilling matches, 3 proud hosts, 1 champion. Will Senegal be able to defend their crown? CHAN 2024, where homegrown heroes rise and local legends soar beyond borders. Catch every goal, every tackle, and every heartbeat live on GTV Sports Plus. GTV Sports Plus, the legends live here.
Yes, Uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
The second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswati. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late?
Of course.
You go be the luckiest. Copy from the jet be luckiest. From not them cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter what you're luckiest. Everybody go be that luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God the apple boom. If you put it toy, so would the coming of the son of man be. Ofa, is that his car?
Dial star 712 #. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the rest.
Welcome back, viewers. This is Current Agenda, your authoritative news analysis show, your Saturday morning delight. This morning, we have in studio Kofi Capito. Kofi is the Chief Executive Officer for the Consumer Protection Agency. Kofi, good morning.
Morning, sir.
I hope you're good.
Divine selection has actually reached me, so
Nice.
I'm good. And I say good morning to the viewers or the listeners.
Right. We also have Dr. RAMZI INUSAH. He's a senior communicator with the Movement for Change. INUSAH, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
I hope you're good.
Well, I am not good. I think that over the years, we've been hearing about police brutality. But today, I am part of the Association of the Victims of Police Brutality. I'm an associate member now of the Association of...
How is that possible? I didn't know that it has an association. Explain.
Well...
But I see you manage your rights.
Yes.
How is managed?
Yes. My brother, the manner in which our police service conducts their operations and they carry themselves is quite worrying and sickening to any rational person and mind in this country. We believe that, and we all know, in my neighborhood in Abelempe, and on my street, anybody that knows me knows that I have a good relationship with the community, and I'm also an opinion leader in my community. I have a watchdog, and it's the people that watch over me, not even the police or whatsoever. And so I got a distress call that there were some suspected armed robbers in a pickup vehicle moving around. And at a particular point in time, they parked behind my vehicle, which was parked outside my property. So I quickly rushed outside to ascertain the facts as to what was really happening. I was told that these suspected or alleged to be armed robbers were in a pickup. So I took the corner of my street and I realized that a pickup was parked there. So I gathered the courage and I approached them to, check the car and see if indeed their description matches what the people are alleging. So I introduced myself as Dr. INUSAH, a resident of Abelempe, and if I can be of help to them. My brother, before I realized, the driver in the pickup said in Twi, "We are Dr. NTDN for our courses and fee hoko." Just like that.
Without provocation?
Without any provocation.
All you did was just ask?
Introduce myself.
And ask if we could be of assistance.
And I believe that every citizen of Ghana has the right to ask questions to anybody who is alien to his or her community. And that is what I did. And so when that incident happened, when he abused me verbally in that manner, I walked away from the pickup and I took my phone and I placed a call to one commissioner at the headquarters to tell him about the issue, that in case there is any further escalation or there's any issue whatsoever, they should come to our rescue, or they should call the district commander to send men, if indeed they are armed robbers. My brother, before I realized, these police officers who did not have
at this time, you did not know they were police officers?
The vehicle had no GP number plates. They were in earrings, some of them were in earrings, right, and hoodies, and with long beard like your own, a well-kept beard. I mean, but yours is well-kept than even theirs. And they beat me, they put me down, they handcuffed me, and they threw me in a pickup.
The bucket?
Yes, like a tuber of yam. And my security guard, also seeing the incident, also rushed to de-escalate, and they also beat him to pulp. And that is why today I am in this bandage. And I am calling on the IGP. I met him yesterday.
No, at what point, because at this point, at what point did you know they are the police? Because so far you've not said anything that indicated that they are the police.
So they put us in a pickup and they took us to the Achimota police station.
Okay.
And then...
So when you say us, you mean?
I and my security guard.
Okay.
Because that was what they did. They arrested the two of us. They took us to the Achimota police station. And then they identified themselves as police officers. And that they claim they are from the PID.
So the only time they identified themselves to you was when they got to the when you got to the Achimota police station.
And funny enough, I was told by the investigator that these officers were sent by the CID boss to arrest Ralph Williams, who is a suspect in a case of an assault like Ralph.
In any way.
And I can take off my hat to see if I have a Rasta too.
I mean, you said you identified yourself
as Dr. INUSAH, yes. And this is the video of
I think
incident.
Yes. Viewers, we have a video showing the neighborhood. It might not show the exact, but it shows the neighborhood. Is this video before or after?
It was during the...
So it was in broad daylight?
Broad daylight, like this.
Wow.
So you see 1, 2, 3 cars. And there are 10 of them. And you know...
All these cars belong to them?
All these cars belong to them. You see? Look at...
So when did this... Because I see a car with police. When did that car come?
So the police car came from behind. After. I didn't even see a police car on the street. And if the producer will show you another picture of them, they came from behind the streets. Nothing shows that they were police officers.
Because the earlier picture you showed me has that other pickup parked there, which does not have any...
Can show you that picture as well. And if you look at that picture, you realize that one of the guys had an earring. And so nothing showed that these guys were officers. I do not look like Raf. I'm not associated with Raf. And indeed, if they came for Raf, they had failed in their operation because they had shown some form of suspicion to the residents around.
Yes, already you would have had a tip-off.
You have blown cover. Because they were moving around the street, and that blew their cover. And so this begs the question how people are recruited into our police service. Which skill the police service looks at before they recruit people, how their training is being done. But indeed, my brother, I sit down here on this platform as a social activist, as a person who fought the previous regime for brutality meted on journalists and political opponents. We've seen the case with Hobson Adoye, we've seen the case with Manasseh Azuri and the rest. And we have fought the SWA government for police brutality and excesses. We've seen the case with the usage of vigilante groups, right? We've seen the case against Sam George. Today it is me. If this is the reset agenda President Mahama is talking about, then I am sorry. I am calling on the president and the vice president, who is the chairman or the chairperson of the police council, to take action. I have spoken to the director for Amnesty International. I am going to launch a criminal going to use to advocate and fight against police brutality in this country. And my brother, you see, these police officers, and I would make sure I get their names and their pictures. And if the producer can show the other picture, you will see one of them.
If the technical team can show the still image, there's another picture that shows a side view of this picture.
So look at the guy in the earring. This was a pickup.
He rather looks like Ralph.
He looks like Ralph, actually. Look at the pickup. So if you look at the pickup there's no GP inscription.
I mean, this looks like a regular private security.
Yes, private.
car.
And then there's no police vehicle parked behind the pickup, right?
No.
No police vehicle on the street. And so I had walked away from them. This was when they were coming to me. And then somebody took the picture. A resident took the picture.
So this was after you had gone to introduce yourself to them, and they had
I went back.
They had ignored you, and
Yes.
and when you were walking away. So these are the guys. These are the ones who handcuffed you. These are the ones who brutalized you and threw you into the bucket.
Together with the team that also came.
Wow.
And you know, they lied in their statement at the police station that I didn't know I was very strong like that, to be able to beat more than 10 police officers. They lied that I had assaulted them. And that is what they use against innocent citizens of this country. But unfortunately for them, they have stepped on the wrong tail. And this fight, I am going to take this fight to the doorsteps of the IGP. Under the SWA IGP, Abelempe was a very safe neighborhood. Every night we had barriers, police barriers and checkpoints. Today, I don't see the same thing. I met the IGP when he was coming out of his office yesterday, and Lydia. I spoke to them.
You've escalated this to them?
I've spoken to them, and I want to say it on record that they met me, they saw the state in which I was. If they fail to take action, it's quite unfortunate that the Constitution does not allow civilians to invoke certain clauses to remove a commissioner of police. It is only the IGP that has the power to remove a commissioner of police. Otherwise, I'll wait and see if the investigation will be done in a manner in which will be fair and would be abiding and would be according to the rule of the law. But my brother, a lot of innocent Ghanaians have suffered from this. I always hear about it, but it is painful. And you would understand it when you really face such incidents.
I mean, this is serious. So I mean, viewers, this is unbelievable. You are living in your neighborhood, somewhere you've lived all your life, practically or possibly. You get indication because you are an opinion leader or because you are well respected in that community. People see something to be suspicious and they bring it to your attention. Any right-thinking Ghanaian or any right-thinking human being would want to approach to find out what the issue is. Now, from what INUSAH is saying, he goes to them, he asks them if he could be of any assistance. The good Samaritan that he is. They first snub him, have any standby security, 50, dress casually, nothing on them indicating that they are security agents or officers. Pounce on him, abuse him. According to what they said, they stamped on him, throw him into the bucket. His security guard, who sees that his boss is being brutalized, comes to his aid. He's also added on, beaten, and he only gets to know that they are the police when they send him to the police station. I mean, this is unbelievable. And this is not what it is that we expect of our security companies, of our national security architecture, of the police service. That's not what we expect. Our expectation is that you are supposed to protect us. You are supposed to be intelligent officers. Clearly, from the producer, you can show the pictures again. You can show I mean, this morning when I saw this, I'm livid. If this is how we intend to live in this country, if this is how we are civilians, I mean, working from here today, I don't know, I might look like Shatawale. And the next moment, somebody just walks into my home and starts beating me, all in the name of suspicion. I am national security. I am police. I have the authority behind me. I have the state behind me. So I can. These are men with face towels hanging from their pocket. And these men, and he identified himself as Dr. INUSAH, a resident of this neighborhood. Clearly, it tells you he's not the person you are looking for. So what makes you decide to want to attack and mufti or plain-clothes policemen dressed and walking about and abusing people? Where is this coming from? We saw them at Ayawaso West Wagon. We were told that they were national security. They came, they just did what they wanted to do. We saw them at the recent Ablekuma by the parliamentary elections. We are seeing them all around. How are we supposed to be safe? This person is a security person. How can we be safe? How? The IGP, this is not what we signed up for. Maybe I'm walking on the street, the next thing they'll say, you are the one saying this on TV. You look like somebody and they throw me into a bucket. What is this, a banana republic? Is this how we behave? Everybody takes what they think is right and they do it. And according to what he's saying, they go and they rather change the story and they write their statement and they rather are accusing. What is this? So if there was not this video evidence, what from this video shows that these guys are police? Until the other van with the police inscription written on it. And are you not supposed to identify yourself before you even arrest somebody? Are you not supposed... Kofi, I mean, and when you saw him this morning, I know you yourself, you were asking what's happening.
Yes. But you see...
I mean, this is consumer protection.
You see, let me tell you what. And I'm trying to hold my words this morning. He's a friend of mine. He's not built as you, machoed, that somebody should be afraid of. But you see, we've been doing things wrongly for the longest time as a country. That is the bane. And my brother here is a lawyer. Yeah. And sometimes I blame lawyers of Ghana. You know why?
Tell me.
Because any other jurisdiction, lawyers would even approach him. Have you seen when they do police abuse in America, there's a lawyer who comes. They first the police officer. I don't mind the way they address because they might be undercover or they are undercover. But once you intend to make
this is a weak undercover.
No.
If people could even tell and call that they are suspicious people.
No. This thing happened after whether they exchange, which shouldn't have happened. All they had to do was to say, oh, you show their badge. You show an ID card that I am a police officer. There's my ID card. Okay. And we've been told by the police service. And sometimes I ask, this police that they say the vice president is always the one who, is it the
police
chair?
council,
the chair.
Police council and blah, blah, blah. You see, Ghana, we don't put civilians in institutions that are supposed to protect civilians.
Yeah.
PIPs. You see PIPs. Ask them if there's any regular civilian in it. Because you know the reason why they have the judiciary, American courts when they have jury.
The jury. Yeah.
The reason they have the jury is you are supposed to put yourself, what if it was me? That's why they have jury. Look, this recent committee that the Minister for Health is trying to put together, I was hoping there would be a patient in there.
I mean, when I heard it, I laughed.
Or an organization like my organization,
who represents patients.
We are jokers in this country.
I mean, how do you form a committee?
Because the civilians don't care.
How do you form a committee and put the people
civilians don't care.
one person is accusing the one who represents the staff, the HR, the one who represents the doctors, the one who represents the nurse.
It's against the principle of natural justice, the lawyers will say.
Because you are allowed to go on. Okay, this is a country that somebody took, was it Snit? Snit was doing something, what's his name? Oh, he used to be the spokesperson for President Kufuor.
Frank Ejoko.
No, they're not now. Awuni took Snit to court. I've forgotten the issue. Yes. Then they said the court to a Ghanaian citizen, they told him that he doesn't have locus.
He doesn't have locus because
Jesus Christ.
He doesn't have direct.
Jesus Christ. But you are telling me I can do citizens arrest. So then what locus do I have to go and arrest somebody?
Anyway.
You know, let me.
A member of the MPP legal team, ENOCH AFOAKWAH. Good morning.
Good morning, Kojo.
I hope you're good.
Oh, by the grace, I'm doing well, and yourself?
You're the only one wearing white with us this morning.
Yes.
I still see the blue and red in it.
No, it's just...
It's unconscious?
Yes, sure.
It's in your DNA?
No. This not even blue, it's black.
Ah, from here it looks blue.
No. Let me say a very good morning to my uncle Kofi Kapito and Dr. Adib Sani. INUSAH Sani. And I've not had the wind of the totality of how the predicament that he's facing now, but judging standing from his bandaged hand and his reddish eye, you could see that he's gone through a lot of trauma.
Is it happened on Thursday?
So he's gone through a lot of trauma, and this is where we need to rise up as citizens and talk. The police is there to protect us. The power of the police, the power of arrest, it's not without regulations. You just can't go that you have the power of arrest and decide to beat somebody out, an innocent bystander, that you take the person through this predicament. I believe that. My uncle was saying that he blamed lawyers. But in our jurisdiction, there are also ethical considerations as far as the practice of law is concerned.
You can't get to advertise.
You don't do soliciting. You don't do advertisement. You don't do that. So it is the client or the victim that walks into a law firm, whether he is able to pay or unable to pay, to be able to tell his story or her story, so that when it touches the heart of the lawyer, that he wants to take on the case as a pro bono, the lawyer professional standards and etiquettes of lawyers in the Republic of Ghana. So these are the challenges that we have as a people. And if we know that Ghana is a liberalized state and we want to liberalize some of these things, then my uncle Kofi Kapito, as a lead advocate for consumer protection, should also take some of these matters up so that we begin to loosen the tight end to be able to free some of these things in order for lawyers to also see some. We see some of these things a lot. I take on pro bono matters a lot as far as our jurisdiction is concerned, and this is not new to me. I'm currently handling more than 6, 7, 8 cases as far as some of these predicaments are concerned, and it's becoming one too many. It's becoming one too many. The principle of natural justice, the audio authorem partem rule, prescribes that before you crucify somebody, give the person a hearing. The police have the power of arrest, and your power is not without checks and balances. On arrest, you need to inform the person of the offense the person has committed. And the judge's rule, you tell the person that he has a right to remain silent. Whatever he says will be put down in writing and used in evidence against him. These are the judge's rule, prescribed format of arrest.
And a lot of
that makes arrest lawful
because arresting officers did not do this, and the case is thrown out.
I was cross-examining an arresting officer in the dock, in court, the prosecuting witness of the state. And my brother, you'll be amazed. An arresting officer whose duty in that establishment, I will not name the establishment, is to search and arrest. Did not even understand the rules regarding arrest. He nearly collapsed in the dock, in court. It was
embarrassment.
The embarrassment, and he felt that he was putting himself in imminent danger because now you are losing the tight ends. Now you are transparent. Everybody is seeing you. You have been exposed. You see, this is why we need serious advocacy. The police is becoming unbecoming. The security, not even the police alone, the security architecture of our country is becoming more force. They are using more force than using...
You know why I'm smiling? when we say all this, and it comes back to you, the politicians. You are the ones who have been picking your foot soldiers and taking them and making them go in as police recruits, and eventually they grow and become these people.
Kojo, let me end here.
I'm just laughing. I'm smiling.
Kojo, I am not against a citizen being enlisted into any of these services, but the service is regulated by laws. And once you accept to go into it, if you go to Rome, you do what the Romans do. So if there is strict discipline, as far as the conformance of the laws, the structures, whatever the regulations of the service is, and you are complying with it, you are a citizen. We can't enlist, sorry to say, Burkinabés, Nigerians, Ivorians into the Ghana Police Service. We can't enlist Americans and other nationals into our service. It is Ghanaians. And no matter the standing of the person, whether being MPP, NDC, Movement for Change, whatsoever, member of Consumer Protection, whatsoever, if you accept to be a member of that service, you must be guided by the ethics and the laws that regulate that service. Conformist. If you are not, you stay out. And if you are also the head of that institution and you watch on for these people to perpetrate grave atrocities against innocent citizens, the people whose taxpayers' money are used in servicing it, servicing your salary, servicing your conditions of service, you beat them up. You met out all sorts of hardships on their pain, agony, and you expect them to go through GRE, pay the taxes for you to be remunerated at the end of the month. Sorry to say, we should be charitable to ourselves. We should. And the nation must rise. The nation must put ourselves in social accountability. It should not be coming from only my uncle Kofi Kapito, who growing up have been watching him on GTV and other stations, advocating for the rights of consumers. Citizen participation. It's zero. Check how many of the in the status of Kofi Kapito is advocating for consumer protection. And the police, our services, we are consuming their services because they are there to protect us. So they are providing us an essential service to us. And must they met this out to us? I was in court with a certain accused person, and the judge delivered a certain ruling which is alien to the laws of the Republic of Ghana as far as our criminal jurisprudence is concerned. And the judge's decision, his ratio is that he was acting and he was directing or ordering that to calm tempers down. And in that case, it is the police that is the complainant in that case. So I asked myself after court, so to calm tempers down means that the temperament of the police is high. And I am not surprised that Dr. Sani has been beaten up by the police. INUSAH has been beaten up by the police because of their temperament, which is high. And we need to measure the temperament of the police because it happened in court.
The very people who are supposed to exhibit the highest level of emotional intelligence.
The court stated that he has remanded the accused person to calm tempers down. So, it is not to say that yet the judge was right, because if a doctor has been beaten, it is of the temperament of the Ghana Police Service in a court properly constituted in the Republic of Ghana. And we must be worried as a people.
You know what is, I'm laughing because when we say that Ghana is broke, people don't understand. I grew up in Ghana. I went to what's it called? The little people's school.
Nursery.
We didn't call it nursery. Day nursery, we call it day nursery. Yes. Okay, all the way through. And Ghana didn't used to be like this. I'm telling you, even though we've had some military interventions and stuff, okay, the question is, we chose to be democratic since the 1992 Constitution. And looks like when the people get the power, the people that are voted in get the power, they don't respect the people anymore.
Yeah.
Because, look, this is the Constitution of Ghana. He has a book here. It tells you the right of every citizen in Ghana. Why are we behaving as if we are doing
So, Kofi, talking about the rights of every citizen in Ghana, this week, or I think it was Sunday, I mean, the same gentleman who was, Dr. INUSAH was mistaken for, went to a hospital and assumed that he has the right to go into an emergency ward, demand consumer protection, demand what he thinks as a consumer he deserves. Pick a camera when he thinks that that is not being given to him, video and show the whole world, and in the process, he's seen, and on video, he's seen physically assaulting somebody. Right. Do patients or do people have these rights?
You know, your right stops where mine begins. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
So the question is, how do we balance it? As for that boy or that gentleman,
I don't think we should call him a gentleman.
Oh,
what he did.
Well, okay.
I'm
sorry, saying that,
as for that man.
But to be nice.
No, he was not nice, so we won't be nice.
You know, and the funny thing is, some media stations are giving him a mileage by even calling him to interview him just in the name of stupidity. That's the word I will use. I called one of the hosts and I said, what you are doing is very, very reckless. And I know where you're coming from. Look, let me tell people, me, and I don't care. Because one, I'm a Ghanaian. Two, I'm entitled to belong to any organization if I choose to. And I'm also entitled to leave that organization if I choose to. Okay? So nobody is more Ghanaian than me. This thing that you speak the truth, you'll be labeled under a regime. And that same regime that will label you, when they are in opposition and you are saying the same thing, they are the people who come on your side because now it favors them. Look, there's a police officer who spoke the truth for the first time. He did, I think, some conference and he said that we are recruiting MPP and NDC police. That man, when we found out, he was even tied to that Woman Voice group. Was it where
Democracy Hub?
No. That trans voter something. Yeah, what's his name? Dr. Agozo. He spoke the truth, a police officer. The system went after him. They say, when him, Obomosechi, Ofri so the catch say, Dencheme Wua. So the man himself is not just a sergeant, an officer comes out and tells the truth and the wrong in the police. And people get angry. Dr. Kumbo said something. He said we should stop pushing people through protocol to medical school. Because if you push a protocol person to medical school and if you are sick, you get a protocol doctor. You know, this is what we do in Ghana. Look, I don't mind the political party saying that we have some men, so we want to put them into the security system. They should be trained, gone through the process, and the police should also make sure that this person is qualified to be a police officer. Gone were the days that there was even a height for even accepting a police officer, or even a weight. Your weight is even considered. You know, we do things to ourselves as Ghanaians, all in the name of political party, not in the name of Ghana. Why have you stopped being Ghanaians and become party people? Why have you stopped being Ghanaians and become party people? You know, this rich hospital thing is so pathetic, ridiculous, you know, stupid, that this gentleman is allowed to walk around now. He should be arrested.
And I think the police is looking for him because he's hidden. No wonder they went.
What, man? This man, where is he? You see, let me tell you what.
They are able to arrest TikTokers.
Let me tell you what.
From their bases.
What even annoys me was when he was telling the reason why he went to the rich hospital. You know, on the N1, coming closer to Tetekwashi, that place.
The roundabout.
The roundabout.
Where the shop right is.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's Tetekwashi.
That's Tetekwashi. There's a side street.
Yes.
And that thing, the Ghana police should clamp down on it. These motorbikers come and display reckless riding. And there is spectators. And sometimes we even want to see a young boy doing rollerblade in Ghana, I laugh. Because rollerblade is not meant for Ghana on our streets. Here, 911 doesn't work. You know, people don't understand. So if you, and indiscipline, Ghana is becoming an indisciplined nation. Honestly. It's becoming very, very indisciplined. And I think we should look at it, make sure that law and order. Do you know we changed the police, Ghana police force to Ghana police service? Because they're supposed to serve the people and respect the people so that the people too should respect them. The fact that you are a Ghanaian, especially the people at the top, that the policeman is doing his job, and you ask him, do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? There was an incident, a whole police officer who was doing his duty, okay? He was doing his job. Some big man was misbehaving. The guy wanted to cut the queue because there was a roadblock. He actually came to Accra, ordered the IGP sent an armored car to go and bring the police officer. So if I am standing next to that guy, would I do my job right? I wouldn't. Because I don't want an armored car to come and pick me. When you are right, you are right. No matter what it is. Because that's why we have systems in place. We have places that one can go to. If I feel a police officer, I tell people, don't fight with the police. Because if you fight with the police, it's a different story. When I see people on television, like people, Shatawale's boys, Yoko, misbehaving, and the police watch them, some people are holding swords and stuff in front of Yoko. The video is out there. People who don't even pay taxes. And they are disturbing my ears. And the police are watching them.
Viewers, so we've been joined in studio by Ni Papo, SAMOA ADDO. Ni is a lawyer and also a member. And also a member of the National Democratic Congress. We are also joined on Zoom by Dr. Eric Odurosai, governance expert. Doc, good morning. Doc, I think you are muted.
Yes, good morning, colleagues, and I'm enjoying the discussions.
Right. So, Doc, I'll get back to you in just a minute.
All right.
Police brutality. Okay. And then the rich thinking.
Okay.
Your guest is not allowing you.
My guest wants to change my topic for me.
My other profession is also a host.
I think I have to tell my producer that truth is I have a rival and a co-host. You know, normally the host sits in the middle. Yeah, so you are the chair of this discussion. But Ni, yes. I mean, I'm sure you've definitely heard of this Ridge incident. Right. As a lawyer, I would want to find out from you: do citizens or individuals have the right, or are they permitted to walk into spaces like the hospitals and start just videoing information out there? Then they have a better case.
Well, we are in a new era of citizen journalism, and I think that the National Media Commission and our learned professors of journalism, we probably need a policy on, you know, these days when you go to any program, you see they are called bloggers. You know, they're a new breed of journalists who. Well, do I call them journalists? They are citizens.
These were the freelancers before.
Freelancers, yes. Now,
in the South is even the regular party people.
Yeah.
Also, so now when I go to a party, I don't dance anymore.
Exactly.
I like dancing. Before you could say Jack, somebody calls you, why were you dancing at that party?
Exactly. It's a very, I think it's a very invasive thing that if we are not careful, you may be very surprised that some of the things that you find out being put out in the media. Because these are people that follow you to your car, you know, you may be having a private conversation with someone. You know, recently I saw there was a private conversation between two very top politicians, you know, former vice president and current member of government. And people were actually capturing this. You see, it's unconscious. You are not, before you realize the conversation you thought you were having privately, everything was picked via audio, you know, from the phone. And I think it's very dangerous because there's always a balance between the right to privacy, you understand, and then the right to the freedom of speech, the guaranteed rights of media. And you see, when our 1992 framers were putting this constitution in place, I believe strongly that if you read our constitutional law, what they had in mind was the traditional media. You know, so if you look at the language of the provisions, the freedom of the media is guaranteed. You cannot censor editorial opinion. You cannot direct a journalist as to how he should do his work. And these were done intentionally because we had come from the PNDC era where we had and of course, even our history is guided by how censorship has been used as a tool by governments to control information and the narrative called Kwame Nkrumah. So we've tried to build. And so there are very strict provisions in the Constitution that guarantee the freedom of speech and the freedom of the media. But what we have now is a creeping danger where these bloggers are literally uncensored. So you cannot put what happened in terms of the recording as a traditional media event where a traditional journalist would have gone in there, would have sought permission and all that. This is a person who is accessing a service. Now, in recent times too, there have been a lot of lawsuits against our hospitals, public hospitals for that matter. And the Minister of Health has alluded to that we are literally paying about 10 million cedis every year in negligence suits. So there is the need for, of course, if you want to be able to be successful in negligence action, the better the evidence you have, the more successful or the high likelihood of success of your suit. So if somebody accesses a service and he believes that he's not being treated fairly, he may decide or opt to take evidence of whatever negligent service that is being rendered as evidence of the lack of due process or the lack of the standard of care that he is expected to have received at the hospital. So you have to put that in context. Was what happened being preserved as evidence for a potential lawsuit? Or was it one of the things that is happening now where people literally calling themselves bloggers walk into a facility or walk into somebody's part, whatever it is?
He says he's a freedom fighter.
So you see, we need to have that balance. What happened? And that's why I'm happy there's a committee to investigate, because we need guidelines. And I think that this event probably would force the Ministry of Health to come out with certain protocols on what can be done. Because in certain places, clearly, you can see that you cannot go in. Even in people's offices now, you are, especially in the public space, and even in your private listing, people are putting up signs. You can't have your phone, the recording in this, because it's becoming a very You used to be a very,
open
society where you didn't expect that if you had a conversation with somebody, the person will record you. But in this era, when you are inviting somebody to your space, I think you need to be clear. And I think that's one of the things that Ghanaians and a lot of institutions are not clear about. The do's and don'ts when it comes to when you go into certain places. And I think it's about time a lot of these institutions begin to put in policies. If it's a no recording, and if you go to a lot of foreign places, even where in shops, if they are using CCTV, they let you be aware that you are being recorded. Yeah. You understand? Because there's a right to privacy. You see, there's a right to privacy. One of the things I keep complaining everything about is we don't legislate a lot in this country. When there is a problem, like we are seeing creeping up, we need to have some legislation. The law, as has been interpreted in respect of the right to privacy, is clear that unless you have the person's permission, you are not allowed to record, except where the exceptions are: public safety, public morality, and all those exceptions. They are there. So if you don't fall under those categories, you are breaching the law. But it is more civil than criminal. And I think that is why a lot of people get away with it. So if we are looking at that, then probably we need to start looking at our right to privacy laws in respect of perhaps criminalizing the unauthorized recordings of certain activities. Or if you want to come under the exception, then be a whistleblower. So for example, you go to a health facility, you say you have observed this and this and that. Then put a report together or put a complaint in place, because we have a complaint system within the health service. You understand? That would address some of these things. But in this era where everything is now the numbers, people are chasing numbers and followers and all that, we are running into a very dangerous, I was happy when there was a clear policy, even at funerals. At national events where they're supposed to be so very somber and very, formal, and you see people chasing everyone with, and some have turned into an enterprise where they are following you and they are literally chasing you for money and all that. I understand some people even hire the services of these. Nobody is saying that they are not. Maybe it's a new enterprise. Fine. But we need to regulate it. So we need the National Media Commission, perhaps even the Ministry of Communications, among others, to look carefully at this part and come up with policy. Because where we are getting to, we may end up not being able to, there might be a confrontation. You understand? Somebody may end up, for example, somebody could end up broadcasting a live surgery in the name that he is not happy with whatever it is that was going on. We need to be careful. So there are things that are not meant for public consumption. Or somebody can enter a mortuary, for example, and start recording. We need to be clear. Right. So I would advocate, especially for our institutions, begin to come. If you are even if we are all waiting for a national policy, most institutions have a duty to let people understand the do's and don'ts when it comes to issues of recordings in your institutions. So that if everybody enters your reception and the rules are there, no recording in this place. Because if you go to the airport, for example, it's clear where you can record and where you cannot record. If you enter into embassies, for example, at a certain point, you cannot even have access to your phones. So if we have those policies in place, whilst we are waiting for a national policy, it will regulate some of these things.
I agree. Let me add this one to what
Okay.
A quick one, because I need to go to Doc on
yeah, sure. The lawyers are talking, so I'm quiet.
Yes. Allow the lawyers to talk.
Certainly. As far as our health services or our health sector is concerned, the Public Health Act of 2012, Act 851, specifically under Section 167, clearly codifies the patient's charter.
But it's not
the patient's charter.
It's not out.
I have seen most of the government hospitals that you see the patient's charter clearly posted on the walls of the hospitals. So clearly, if you take your comrades, walk into a government or a state facility, a health provider, and begin to film that you are, how do you describe it again?
Freedom fighter.
Freedom fighter. You can't go. You see, all those who were seen in those videos can also take civil suits against them, against the hospital, against the Ghana Health Service, and against the said person because it breaches the dignity of the patients in the hospital. It is not all persons who wants to be seen that they are in hospitals. A person may be ill, you may be closer to the person, but the person will just go blackout and tell all the relatives that he doesn't want any person to know because people will troop into it. They want to protect their dignity. And you take a camera to a hospital without recourse to the patient's rights and begin to film. You can film yourself with your permission and the permission of the hospital that you want to film whatever that goes on and put it out there. If the hospital administrators or the doctors or the medics approve of your enterprise, fine. But you can't take the rights of others into your own hand because you are a freedom fighter and you are said to be fighting for a certain cause and you tend to abuse every person's right. That should not be entertained. In as much as we are waiting for regulations in the new media space, it is not to say that there are no existing laws or provisions that can extend to that in order to regulate that circumstances. Media freedom is there, but there are guarantees in terms of the criminal libel that has been repealed, but the civil libel is still there. So if you are doing blogging, if you are into the new media space and you are not conscious of the existing legal regime, and you attract any liability, you should be worried that a civil suit may be taken against you in the civil court for some damages and some compensations of which you might not have the capacity to be able to meet your liabilities if the court so rules.
I understand the nurse has taken a criminal. Is there civil action she's taking? Oh, okay. So
if she's right. Criminal cases.
I think she's not. The assault bit has not come in yet. I think that's what the police is still doing the investigation. Okay. But now, what she and viewers.
It means that I will also be following suit as well.
But I told you should.
Yes. Can we look at the statement of claim? That should be the sheet 2. What she's claiming and what she's asking for. Yeah, so that will be the damages that she's asked. So the damages of 5 million Ghana cedis for the battery suffered at the hands of the defendant on 17th day of August. Damages of 2 million Ghana cedis for the defamatory words published by the defendant in relation to the plaintiff in these terms: liar. What say? It's true. Forgive me. An order directing the defendant to publish a full unqualified apology and retraction of the said defamatory words in the same medium and with the same prominence as the original publication. Perpetual injunction restraining the defendant from publishing any further defamatory matter in relation to the plaintiff. Perpetual injunction restraining the defendant from coming anywhere within 50 meters radius of the plaintiff. Cost including legal fees, and that's where Nipapo and AFOAKWAH come in. And any other reliefs that this honorable court may deem fit. Now, we have a video also by the minister when this happened. My team, if we can show the video of the minister. After that, we would go to Dr. Osai, then we come back in studio. So can we have the video of the minister?
Negligence. Anytime I hear that, I cringe. We spend not less than, as a country, we don't have the money to buy the equipment, but we are spending so much. As I speak to you now, the cases on my table within this week are 3 that Attorney General is waiting to me to provide responses. Medical negligence. So it's a major issue that we are dealing with. Let me at this point reiterate to the whole country that irrespective of the level of provocation at any health facility in this country, nobody, irrespective of your status in society, absolutely nobody has the right to attack any health professional in this country. That is the gravamen of the issue. No diversionary tactics about handshaking. That is what we must concentrate on, to send a clear signal that our health professionals working at the various health facilities are safe. It's unlawful to attack a health professional. And so the best you can do is to lodge a complaint. And that brings me to the client service. So this is what we are doing. We have some numbers available where if people feel dissatisfied, you can then call. The fact that you have called to lodge a complaint doesn't mean that you are right. We will look into the matter and then appropriate.
Okay. So, I mean, we heard the minister. Doc, to you, this authority or this self-belief for individuals wanting to do this, like Kofi Capito said, this used not to be the way. Like Nipako mentioned, there's this new media wave. But I am beginning to think those of us or senior people or people in leadership are leading the way. I mean, we've seen ministers go to some of these institutions with camera and are instructing those in authority live on TV and questioning why machines are not working in the full glare of the public. Are these not what is equipping or making these people feel that, I mean, if the minister or if the CEO can do this, I cannot equally do this? Doc.
Thank you very much. And let me say good morning to our viewers, listeners, and then colleagues in the studio. You see, what I would say is that we have enough laws and policies to deal with the issues. As a country, our problem has always been implementation. And I'm happy the lady has taken the matter to court. Let's see how the court pronounces on the matter. And I would expect the court to even come up with consequential orders that can help us deal with this issue. No one can say that because a minister or a high government official is doing something that is not right, they would also have to continue to do the same. Our society is gradually becoming a society that does not crack the whip. And I think it is about time we enforce our laws. And I like what Mr. AFOAKWAH and then my colleague Nick Bakbu was saying. Look, every citizen have their right, the right to privacy. Even there are health service protocols that needs to be enforced. If you go to, it is not only hospitals, all other public institutions, there are protocols that needs to be observed and they're respected. This gentleman went there, did what he wants to do, and then he's been left off the hook, or the police said they are investigating. I think it's about time we crack the whip. That has always been our challenge. We have enough laws, we have enough policies to deal with the issues. Citizens Charter, AFOAKWAH mentioned it. It is in our law. There are areas you can go, there are areas you cannot go, there are areas you cannot go with your cameras. But I think our society is gradually becoming a society that does not implement its own laws. And when it suits us, we apply it. Where it doesn't suit us, we decide not to apply it. I think it is about time we go all out. These things must not be encouraged. By this time, this gentleman should have been behind bars. By this time, the investigations would have progressed steadily, and the Ministry of Health, government, and everybody should have taken action. Yes, the press conference is okay, but beyond the press conference, what are we doing? And this is only rich hospitals. Nobody knows what is happening in other hospitals. So I think that, look, we shouldn't even wait for a national or a national policy. Yes, there is new media, but new media has regulatory systems. We have the National Media Commission, as Nipako mentioned. We have Ghana Journalists Association, and these people are not members of the Journalists Association. You see, so I think that some institutions, some persons are not cracking the vision, the charters, the front desk, the PROs are not working. They should work. Like my colleagues were saying, wherever you send meters, they will indicate it. If you go beyond a certain meters, what are the enforcement mechanisms? At the hospital level, what are the security measures in place to ensure that these things can be enforced? I think that the security systems and even enforcement mechanisms at the hospital level is also weak. And same applies to other government institutions. So I think the issue we should be talking about now is how do we step up enforcement of our laws and policies relating to these issues? Because the fact that you have a right under the Constitution to be citizen vigilante doesn't mean you should go all out and infringe on somebody's right to the extent of even assaulting somebody. You can't do that. That is criminal. And I like the tortious action being taken by the lady. Let's see how it goes. But we should all condemn it, and I expect the minister to quickly crack the whip. The press conference is enough. but he should move beyond press conference and crack the whip and make sure he sanitizes the system, improve enforcement mechanisms across hospitals in the country.
Back in studio, UNISA. I mean, we are asking the minister to crack the whip. It was the same minister who carried cameras. And he was working in wards where patients were lying there. He didn't seek their consent. I'm not sure he sought their consent. I stand to be corrected.
Yeah.
And he's the same person. Now, even in this video, I saw a clear cut of low emotional intelligence where I saw him hugging this person. He's giving a lot of explanations and reasons, but you are in leadership. You need to be emotionally intelligent in such situations. The fact that you're a minister for all does not mean that when you see somebody, your employee, is accusing. I'm not sure if this person had attacked his wife. He would have said that, well, because I'm a minister, so I still have to extend a hand. So, and this is the same person we are saying that should crack the whip.
Well, Kojo, it's quite unfortunate, and let me extend my warm regards to the...
And I'm sure you feel it more because you've suffered.
Well, Kojo, I mean, these things we're talking about, I mean, this incident in particular is the reason why these so-called police officers assaulted me.
Yes.
It's because of Ralph that I am assaulted today.
But does Ralph live in your neighborhood?
I have never seen Ralph before.
Man, that's what I wanted to find out.
I have a whole community watchdog watching over me. Any move, any foreigner that comes to cross my street, I am being informed. I've got cameras all around. And so it's quite unfortunate that this nurse was treated this way. I believe that laws that can be applied in this case. We believe that there is a new form of media. It does not conflict with the rights of individual citizens. We've seen that in the US, and I quite agree with my colleagues here, that there are certain places where you see an inscription that do not film here, or you cannot enter here, or cameras are not allowed here, even in our embassies here in Ghana. But this is a case where a gentleman takes his phone, videos a nurse even trying to put a line into the veins of a patient, breaching their privacy rights, or their right to privacy. And I believe that the authorities should take this up. I believe that the legislators that are watching should also look at how they can be able to propound some form of new bills to be able to mitigate such crisis and risk going forward in the future. And to add to it, I believe that we have an issue as far as health delivery is concerned in our country. We cannot sit down here and pretend as if we do not know what is happening in our country. As it stands today, the doctor to the patient ratio in our various public hospitals is nothing to write home about. The WHO recommends about 1 to 1,000. But in Ghana, we have about 5,000 patients to one doctor. They're overwhelmed. The nurse to patient ratio, on the other hand, is nothing to write home about. And we know that these nurses and doctors are overstretched in their various capacities. About 2 days ago, I went to the Mamobi Polyclinic. And to my surprise, in the ER, there was only one nurse there. And there were about 20 patients that needed some form of medical attention. And so these issues ought to be addressed. We know that these issues are there in our system. And so the minister knows that, indeed, he has a lot of work to do. We heard under the SWA administration about Agenda 111, right? I believe that such a policy should have been realized, even though they were not able to complete it. But the minister should take it up. Let's look at how best we can look for financing models to increase accessibility to healthcare. And also the training of our nurses. And I must say this, anybody that wants to work in a healthcare sector should have the love of people. You should be a compassionate person. you should have empathy for the people that you're going to treat, and not necessarily move to a nursing training college as a way or as a route to move away from destitution or being destituted. Right? We've seen that people get frustrated because they cannot find jobs and then they go and do nursing. But no, the medical fraternity requires some different form of attitude. You understand? And so I believe that if the government would also increase expenditure towards building better nursing training schools, changing their curriculum, and ensuring that the products that we bring out of our nursing training colleges will be world-class, just like the Philippines. Today, you will see a huge exodus of nurses and doctors out of this country. And it's quite inimical to our nation's health delivery system. It is a problem. And I believe that if the minister would take certain pragmatic steps to mitigate this crisis, this issue will be a thing of the past. So let me say, let me stand on all existing declaration here that we stand in solidarity with the nurse. I'm sure GMA has issued a statement, and then that of GN, RMA have also issued a statement. But I believe that once the investigation is over, we will know what really happened, and we want to see the gentleman brought to book.
ENOCH, AFOAKWAH. So, this is Ridge. So it's come up.
Sure.
So everybody's talking about it. It's probably because it's Ralph and he filmed it. If probably he has not filmed it, this would not have had this attention that we are having now. There are hospitals in rural areas who are facing similar abuses.
They are clinics.
There are clinics, there are cheap compounds, there are being nurses, health professionals are being abused. The other side of it, patients are being treated anyhow, disrespected, not cared for. People are being negligently left to die. How can we go about this to make this was okay, Ralph is arrested, hey, we are happy. We don't hear about it. The next time we hear it's some clinic somewhere. How do we go about this holistically?
See, KOJO, there is a standard of care as far as health delivery is concerned around the world. And Ghana is not an island. Once we are a member of the United Nations, and we are members of these allied agencies and WHO and those things, there are clear standards, because for the human race, we are one. There are no divisions. So the human race in America, the human race in Europe, the human race in Africa, in Asia, we are the same. So as far as standard of care is concerned, there is no different measures as to same. And that we ought to approach that in that light as far as our country is concerned. We are fortunate to be in Accra and seeing some of these first-class hospitals, even to our acceptance that they are first-class hospitals. But still, people need laughing. People travel outside the country to access better healthcare facilities outside the jurisdiction of our country. It shows that as far as our first-class facilities are even concerned, there are better facilities out there with better infrastructure that can attend to the need of patients better in terms of healthcare delivery. And this is where we must be inching up as a nation. This happened in Ridge. And because Ridge is in Accra, and because of how the new media has been able to disseminate this information, we are now having an opportunity to discuss this here. There are a lot of people, a lot of health service workers or medics suffering these challenges in various cheap compounds, various clinics, various health centers, various polyclinics, various government hospitals, even in private hospitals, where quack medics and addicts, where addicts are abusing the rights of addicts. You see, when you show the rate of sermons from the High Court of Accra, I was laughing, and together I saw my learned senior and he also smiling, because there's a clear gap as far as the suit is concerned. You are working not for yourself. You washed down from home, boarded your vehicle, went to the hospital with the view that your employer will protect you. So in terms of the duty of care, your employer within the hours of your service has a duty of care towards you. And that the breach of duty of your employer to allow a third party coming from outside to come and attack you there, you can't sue without recourse to your employer, without bringing your employer in as a defendant in that matter, to be able to show cause why some such charges should not be meted against your employer.
The plaintiff has a choice.
He has a choice. but the first choice of the plaintiff ought to have been his employer or her employer. Ideally.
But that's advice. Again, the plaintiff could have chosen to. Yes. So
again, that's the patient's right.
That's a different course of action.
Exactly. That's her right to chart that part or not.
Yes.
But you see, if we begin to do this, we will develop our jurisprudence, and that policymakers and policy implementers will be wary of the policies that we have, and will be able to ensure that due diligence is accorded the policies of states that they have been entrusted in their care to be able to manage and ensure that it works to the satisfaction of the people of this republic. We have seen the beautiful Patients Charter or the Citizens Charter of the Ghana Health Service, which has been codified under Section 167 of the Public Health Act of 2012, Act 851. What has been the implementation mechanism as far as the Patients Charter is concerned? It goes to the effect that we have a right, we also have a responsibility. The medics or the health professionals who are also offering their services also have their rights, they also have their responsibilities towards us. And that we are to work together to ensure that we attain the desirable outcome that we are all ensuring to take. Ensure that the policy of state works to the satisfaction of the citizens. We must also be conformist, that citizens must also conform to the existing policies to also ensure that we have a win-win situation as far as the desirable outcome that we are all looking for is concerned. Trust me, we are a fledgling democracy. We don't have the resources, a lot of resources at our disposal, but the little ones that we have, our maintenance culture and other things, we must ensure that the facilities that we have, we protect that, we maintain that to the standards as we all deserve to enjoy. You can visit a health facility and you see that even, sorry to say, there are some dents on the, how do you call it, the patient's beds and those kind of things. Are there not cleaners there? Even common painting of these metal rails and those things, you could see clear rust and those things. And you expect people to live in dignity within those wards? Clearly. Some wards, sorry to say, are like police cells. They are like the prison cells. Some wards where patients are taking delivery of healthcare services are like a police cell or a prison cell. Must that be so? We must move from the era in which we are in and move swiftly in terms of modernity, that now we all deserve some outcome. How much is a bucket of paint? The Ministry of Health can be so innovative to the extent that even if we don't have the resources to be able to be painting these health facilities, we have some companies who have their corporate social responsibilities and other things. We should be working hand in hand with some institutions of state, exactly, so that they can be supporting us in this regard as far as ensuring standards, painting, refurbishment, and those things of our wards and our health hospitals and infrastructures are concerned. Some private persons, my uncle Kofi Capito is here, he can even take a ward and decide that every birthday of hate, he will make sure that he puts that ward to shape.
You can even get a company, do refurbishment, will do free screening for all your employees.
Absolutely, and those kind of things, we must reason up as a nation that we can't put all our taxpayers' money into one arena, whilst other aspects or sectors of the Ghanaian economy suffers. By being innovative, we can also make sure that all other sectors of the economy, desirable that we need it, will not suffer at the expense of what? Detriment, maintenance, and those kind of things. You visit these hospitals and it's an eyesore. When you go to Bank Hospital, you see that even when you are sick and you enter Bank Hospital, you enter the facility and you begin to feel okay because of the environment. The environment is all that we have.
You pay for the extra premium.
It doesn't matter. I took my mom to the Bank Hospital some time back, and the woman was very sick. The moment we entered the hospital, I could see that the woman, her condition has changed. I said, "Ma, you feel okay?" I said, "Yeah, me. She was feeling okay. The environment is all. And you enter a certain hospital, they will give you better healthcare services. But the environment alone will not even let you feel that the services that has been provided is worthy of emulation. The environment alone.
You know,
I'll take your time before I go on the break.
No,
so yes.
you know, I'm laughing because
consumer protection.
I'm laughing because I've been fighting this thing for the longest time. Kolebu, a premium hospital. And sometimes I can understand because the traffic that goes to Kolebu and Okomfanoche, if it was even in the most westernized country, it will collapse. So they are doing the best that they can do with whatever that they have.
We must also be grateful to them. We must always thank the doctors who have chosen to remain and to serve. They are doing a human job.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And to me, people say I'm being harsh or too drastic. I think we should stop sending government officials abroad for medical treatment. That's the reason
we should stop sending. Who sends them? They go on their own.
No, they don't go on their own. I can prove they don't go on their own. Okay? The Speaker of the House right now, do you know how many times he goes outside for medical treatment? Who pays for it? There's a song called They Don't Care About Us. It's because we've allowed them to disrespect us. There's no way that any government official should be sent outside on the taxpayer's bill to go and do medicals. If he needs to die, as we are dying, he should die here. Why? Because they would then look at themselves and do it better so that it would to benefit all of us. Joe Biden, the former president of the United States, his nickname was Amtrak Joe. Amtrak Joe meaning that the train that goes around in America is called Amtrak. And he was coming from Delaware. Joe Biden could not live at two places, Washington and Delaware. So every Friday, he boards Amtrak, goes to Delaware. Monday, he comes back. So if Joe Biden is riding Amtrak, and Amtrak is not on time, and Amtrak is not clean, as a congressman, he will make sure that budget is provided for them. You have MPs, you have ministers who on their own cannot even buy a tico. He's giving Land Cruisers. And you say why your roads are bad? Because he has a Land Cruiser. There's no way that we should do that. And you see, Ghanaians, and sometimes you can't blame Ghanaians. They complain that nobody's minding them. So we all become timid.
I think that one of the times when the whole world realized that you don't have anyone but your own was COVID. Yeah. Because in COVID, you couldn't go anywhere.
You couldn't go anywhere.
So we realized that our health facilities, you know, have to be improved. It exposed a lot of gaps. It exposed a lot. In fact, if nobody likes COVID.
Even in the developed countries.
COVID had been there for a year.
Would have fixed the hospital.
Would have fixed the hospitals.
I mean, the innovation of how Ghanaians were innovative came out during COVID.
Yeah,
we saw a lot of innovation.
Everybody was at UGMC.
No.
Without UGMC.
And the elites.
Without
UGMC. I was going to go there. When UGMC was 90% completed.
I'm happy you have nailed it there.
Okay, political stupidity. All right, let me tell you. No, Kojo. I'm angry as a Ghanaian because my life has always been grateful to Professor Mills for UGMC. Okay,
it was a visionary.
Guess what? UGMC, until the head minister himself, Kokwaji Mamenu, got COVID. That's when they started using it.
Viewers, I need to take
Kojo, you see, this is what we do, and Ghana doesn't get well.
We need to acknowledge our sponsors.
Okay.
Those who are making us do this.
Okay,
yes.
We thank them, so go ahead.
So, viewers, we will take a break. When we come back, I'll let Kofi land, and then we enter the Shatawale Lamborghini Shatawale Iyoko case. So we'll be right back.
My name is Honorable Eduamwa Ekopein Oche, Central Regional Minister, and I welcome you to Central Region Expo Tourism and Investment Fair, dubbed Central Expo 2025, which takes place at Adisada College Park, Cape Coast, from August 22 to August 30, 2025. Our region is known for tourism, education, and agro-business, and we are excited to showcase our achievement and opportunities here at Central Expo 2025. Over the years, the Expo has created opportunities for many small and medium-scale enterprises to showcase their goods and services to the outside world. In many cases, exhibitors have come from almost all corners of Ghana and outside Ghana and have maximized their sales and revenues. This Expo is a fantastic platform for us to connect with businesses, investors, and entrepreneurs from around the world. It is a chance for us to learn from each other and explore new opportunities. I invite you all to explore our region's exhibits and products, meet our entrepreneurs and innovators, and discover the many opportunities Central Region has to offer. We look forward to working with you and building a higher future together. For more inquiries, please call the Secretariat 0246 48 8830. Thank you and welcome to Central Expo 2025.
Welcome, viewers, to Current Agenda, your most authoritative news analysis program, proudly sponsored by Bank of Africa. Back to studio. So, gentlemen, KOFI, 30 seconds, then we move to...
Let me look. Kolebu, 37. All the big government hospitals in Ghana, this evening, go there after 6 p.m. You see family members sleeping in the opening, so that in the night, the nurse will not even sponge bath the patient. They will come and wake you to go and do it. Kolebu Teaching Hospital, they've actually locked all the washrooms. Yeah. But they have given a contract to private individuals to build washrooms at the maternity, right? Somebody is there. When you go to use it, every woman will go maybe 2-3 times when they go and visit there. They charge you 50 pesos. If every woman will clean herself when she finishes. Toilet roll back then was 10 pesos, so 60 pesos. I went to meet the administrator, and this is why I get angry. The administrator was at the top of the place. I asked him a simple question. Does he know what goes on? And I said, why? Guess what his excuse was? The people from Kolegono walked across and used the toilet. Oh, I'm telling you, I'm quoting him. That is why he's locked the toilet in Kolebu, because they come and make a mess. I asked him a simple question. Don't you have cleaners in Kolebu? That is their job. Look, everything, if you leave it not clean, it will get worse. Okay, so I asked him, you're a medical doctor? He said yes. I said, have you heard of airborne disease? If you don't allow these people to come and they shit in Kolegono, it will come to the hospital. These are people who are in charge. Ghanaians, we don't think outside the box. Look, this, like I said, let's make sure, if it's a policy, I'll engage these 2 lawyers, because Ghana, you need them to drive the thing. Let's stop government officials from using the taxpayers' money to go outside for medical bills. We were here that we saw Dr. Baumia on Oxford Street, and people were happy, taking pictures with them. Okay? Same thing. President Atamils was sent outside. They would not make sure that we will get a better facility for ourselves, because the whole of Europe, see how big Europe is? German or English people or the French will not send their prime minister or their president to any.
It's brought to us by Bank of Africa. Bank of Africa understands that we all need some financial quick fix every now and then. Whether it is for school fees, replacing your old refrigerator, or fixing the car engine to get back on the road. The Bank of Africa quick fix loan package was made with you in mind. Seize the opportunity and let your tough times make way for that soft life you have been dreaming about. Visit any Bank of Africa branch near you today and enjoy unbeatable low interest rates, flexible terms, and straightforward application process. Call Bank of Africa on 0302 429 333 or 0302 249690 or chat with Fafa at www.boaghana.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner. So I'll start with Doc on Zoom. Dr. Sai, Shatawale, the our Pampa artist. This week we understand that he was invited by the EOCO, and when he went, he initially, and I think a couple of weeks ago, we heard that he was a person of interest. Then early within the week, we heard that he had been invited by the crowd that mobbed up at the place to show solidarity in the way they thought was right. And when you read the press release from Yoko, it says that he's being investigated for possessing a vehicle that is related to a crime that was committed in the United States of America. Now, the questions people are asking is, to what extent does this open up that discussion of?
Thank you very much. I think in the Shatawale case, Yoko acted a bit late by putting out their statement. I've read the Yoko statement. I was thinking that if Yoko had put out their statement earlier on, it would have calmed nerves and especially prevented most of his supporters from gathering at Yoko's premises. Whichever way we look at it, once the property is a subject of investigation, a subject of criminal act, definitely Shatawale has no option than to cooperate with the security agencies. But how you go about it is very important. And I always say that our investigative institutions will have to do a lot more communication. If you communicate with or to the general public and you make sure that at least whatever you are doing, you carried citizens along, nobody will read all kinds of meanings into it. Let's come to lifestyle audits. I've always said time and again that in this country, we need a lifestyle audit system, not only the public sector, but even with the private sector. And I'm happy to read it from the Auditor General's, the OSP's media report. It is very important. We shouldn't wait for people like Shatawale, who arguably is an icon, has a lot of followers, to be the subject of discussion before we raise an issue of lifestyle audit or lifestyle reviews. It should cut across Shatawales and go everywhere because people live beyond their means. And if we are able to craft legislations or come up with policy that would help us get people to explain wealth, it will go a long way to helping our society. In most cases, we target the politicians or politically exposed persons. But in the interest of taxation, in the interest of national governance, in the interest of ensuring sanity in our system, I believe to even private individuals. So it's about time we mainstream lifestyle systems, lifestyle audits into our operational national governance and process. The enforcement mechanism is again the challenge because source of your wealth. Because we have the gift cards.
We are having some technical challenges. Doc, can you still hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, Doc, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. You can go on. We lost you briefly.
Okay, so I'm saying that we have bits and pieces of lifestyle audit, lifestyle review systems in our laws. For instance, the GRA should be able to pursue or chase you to explain certain gifts or certain lifestyles that you are leading, whether you have been able to pay all your taxes or not. But there are bits and pieces of it. So it's about time we bite the bullet and develop a comprehensive lifestyle audit or lifestyle legislation that can help us ask people to explain unexplained wealth. If we are not very careful where it is taking us to, it will be the central point of corrupt acts in this country. We want to fight corruption, but unfortunately, we are a society that also values people's wealth without questioning the source. And it cuts across. You go to our church, you go to our social structure, people are rich and nobody cares to ask of the source of their wealth. But I think it's about time we develop a comprehensive lifestyle audit regime that can help us get people to explain unexplained wealth, so we'll be able to either tax them or rationalize the system. But in the Shatawale's case, I'm happy he's cooperating, and I read somewhere that he also explained and then commended the professional work done by you, and I was happy to hear that, because if you hear a suspect commending a state institution, then it means he's been handled so well. But my advice to investigative bodies and institutions is that from day one, carry the citizens and suspects along. Put out intermittent statement to carry us along. Yes, I know under investigation, it's not everything that you can put out there, but it is to prevent followers from besieging your premises of this nature. If the Iyoko statement had come earlier on, a lot of misconceptions and impressions created about the organization and its activities may not have arisen.
Cooperation, AFOAKWAH. Cooperation. Now, the first time we heard of this Shatawale Lamborghini issue was when Shatawale came on live and put it out. And it was in response to that the Iyoko indicated that this had actually been an investigation that had been in place since 2023 in their first release that they gave. And that they had agreed to keep it on the low because Shatawale had asked that because of his profile and his how people perceive him, it would affect his brand if they deal with this. But in that video, he went attacking the same Iyoko. To what extent do you think his public outburst and the attack on the leadership, in this case Raymond, affect how this has been done? Because for all we know, probably would have been done on the quiet. Like Doc was saying, that maybe it would have been done in the quiet such that his followers probably might not have heard. But do you think there's some bit of personal, should I say, attack in there where somebody feels I want to show power, where power lies and all that in there?
Yeah. It's a two-edged sword. It's a two-edged sword. You know, if you go after me, I also go after you. It's one of the reasons why we are here today. And with the power of Iyoko, they have the power of the police, that's the power of arrest. Once they reasonably suspect that crime has been committed or crime is about to be committed or whatsoever, they have the power of arrest to arrest you. Whether they respect your standing and they want to go low with you or they want to go high with you, they are still doing it. Under the current regime of the acting executive director, Mr. Raymond Acha, we have, Iyoko has been in the news for all the good reasons, with the hefty bail conditions that have been meted out to suspects that they have arrested and investigated in the past. Talk of the Buffer stock matter, Hanan, who was handed a 60 million Ghana cedi bail conditions, the wife 30 million, better than Chibo Siako.
What happened to Hanan? Is he?
Yeah,
they've made the bail conditions.
Oh yes, he was in custody for almost about 2 weeks. for 14 days and over before he was finally released, of which clearly present the person before a court within, the key word is within 48 hours. The law never, the constitution never talked of after 48 hours. So once you have the power to grant police inquiry bail and the conditions are not met, you have no power to continue to hold the suspect that you have granted the person bail and the person is unable to meet those conditions. So you are keeping. I have maintained that the continuous detention of the suspect in your custody makes the arrest unlawful or the detention unlawful because it goes beyond the 48-hour threshold.
The right to go to court.
No, but in as much as the person has a right to court to go to court, the state institution, clothed with the statutory powers, also has the right to respect the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
The law also is that it is not everybody who can go and claim the violation on behalf of that person. If it's an individual right that has been violated, you must go
personally. That's the High Court. But once they come to one too many, any individual can also go to the Supreme Court because it does not affect the rights of the person personally. But it affects the rights of others, a lot of people. As it becoming a raging national concern, we can go to the Supreme Court to invoke the
Okay, so let's come back to the discussion.
Certainly, Yoko has been in the news.
Lawyers talking.
Yes.
Yoko has been.
I'm supposed to be the host, so I can't.
Yoko has been in the news for all the good reasons. I see these reasons as good reasons because they are laying a bare good precedent for the governance of this country for future, for posterity. And it is good reasons. It is never bad at all. And we need to...
I hear the political undertone in what you are saying.
No, it's for good reasons. For good judgment.
That's very mysterious. Very mysterious.
For good precedent for the future. You know, it is for good reasons that we lay good precedent for the future to guide all of us. Now, in 2025, 60 million was meted out to someone as a bail condition. The person who stayed in custody for 14 days until those conditions were met. Variations, a whole lot of that. So in the future, nobody will come complaining that no, it is within our statutes and references to be made. So we all live with it. So these are the good reasons. So if Shatawale come and sit here, and also accuse you from the same thing that you are saying,
you will also come and say 100 million has been set as good reason.
Maybe it will go further because now you see the dollar is 10 points. It's 10 cedis. And now people are the condition is 60 million. So if the dollar is 20 cedis and we give you same 60 million, it will be about 120 million in the future because the valuation will be at par with the existing exchange.
Are you projecting?
No. We are doing rationalization. We are doing rationalization on the forex rate now.
But are you in actually saying that as long as MPPs, the dollar will go to 20?
No, I'm not saying that. Because President Kufuor's time, the dollar was $1 cedi, $1. Was that not the case?
Is a disciple of Dr. Bawia. So you can understand. Exactly. No. He doesn't like 10 cedis. No. He's already projecting 20
President Kufuor, under President Kufuor, we have a parity of 1 Ghana cedi is to $1 US.
But that is before.
Exactly.
You are a disciple of Dr. Bawia.
It was taking off. Once it took off,
are you a disciple of Dr. Bawia or not?
Yesterday, Abochi gave me 11 points.
It's still better than 70.
11.85. But the Bank of Ghana rate is 10.23 or something.
So you don't like what you have.
Back to Shatawale.
So you don't like what you have now.
So with a good precedent, this sets by
you don't like what you have now. You don't like what you have now.
No, it's good. With all the precedent, it's good.
No. I'm talking about the dollar rate.
It's part of the precedent. With all the precedent, one Bank of Ghana has the rate and Abochi has the dollar. It is all good for our economy.
I mean, Shatawale is saying that, so let's go.
It is possible.
It is very possible. It is very possible. So you see, with the Shatawale and the Raymond Acha beef, I believe that Yoko.
Why are you making it him and Acha's?
No, he tweeted. He sent a tweet and clearly stated that Raymond Acha will send the NDC to opposition. Have you seen that? Yes. Have you chance on that tweet? So you see, it has become a personal matter.
That's why that
Shatawale. You see. That's why I stated that the question you asked me to tease my mind on, I say it is a double-edged sword because once Shatta is personalizing it and he feels that Raymond is also invading his territory by also attacking his standing in the Ghanaian society as far as his brand is concerned and those things, it has turned into a personal matter, not the legal matter as we are to discuss it. But the question is, Is the Lamborghini tainted? Does Yoko have the power to investigate the said allegation that has been leveled against Shatta Wale? If they do, then I believe that, well, we should take away the personal sentiments and make sure that we follow due process as far as the investigations are concerned. Shatta Wale is represented by good counsel, and I believe that he should allow his lawyers to manage the situation for and on his behalf at the end of the day, so that he doesn't taint his brand as a showbiz star, because he's the man of the streets. And from his arrest, he has really confirmed from his arrest that he is the king of the streets. And we all saw at the frontage of Yoku what his disciples, the solidarity for his disciples, and within few hours. And I didn't know. I didn't know.
I didn't know the youth organizer was
oh, he's a Shatta fan. Yeah, he's also a Shatta fan. Salam. SM. You know, he's also SM.
You didn't see the youth organizer. He went there as Salam.
Ah, okay.
So
okay.
SM, he's also a Shatta movement fan. So he was also there to show
myself
solidarity. And you see, I didn't know. I have heard in the news that the conditions, there was a variation as far as the bail condition that was earlier set.
It was moved from 10 million to
5 million.
And then the justification for the sureties was taken away.
Is it because of Shatta Wale?
Yes.
It's because of Shatta Wale?
That I can't say, but I believe that the lawyer...
It's okay, you finish.
I'm asking the question because I have been in matters. I was in the Wuntumi matter as a lawyer. I was also in the Hanan matter as a lawyer. And I am not aware that Yoko has the power to cause a variation to their own bail condition set. So if because of Shatta Wale, no, there's no statute. I know there's no statute. But if Yoko, because the king of the streets, the disciples started massing up and they saw or they preempted anarchy. And that's
oh, they were very orderly. No. They only had kebab stand over there. They were very
they preempted anarchy
music.
And that quickly they reviewed their bail condition set, caused a variation to it, and make sure that the terms were favorable to court the release of Shatta Wale in order to forestall the impending anarchy. Then that is a good precedent that Yoko has set. Because Shatta Wale is not a politician or a politically exposed person, his bail conditions were able to cause a variation in his bail conditions. You see, we must view this with two lenses. One, we have had politically exposed persons. The former director of the Signals Bureau,
yes, Edu
Boahen, whose bail conditions were set higher, the first threshold. That was the opening ceremony for the Raymond Atta-led Yoko into the public space, announcing themselves well. They announced with Edu Boahen. Back to Wuntumi, back to Hanan and his wife, and ADDO. When it got to Shatta Wale, who is not politically exposed, who is not rendering accountability as a former government appointee of the SYL NPP administration, within a twinkle of an eye, I believe that the national security architecture were able to detect the impending danger, cause a variation in the bail condition of Shatta Wale, reduce it from 10 million to 5 million, justification taken off to ensure that the man leave the premises for the disciples to also leave.
But Shatta was not accused of stealing people's money.
No, you see, stealing. You see, conspiracy. Senior is here.
I'm just saying.
Abetment of crime, conspiracy, and those things, inchoate offenses. The punishment is as the main offense. Because once you friends, whether somebody stole it and the person is in lawful custody in America, and that we've traced the asset in your possession and you are under investigation. However, how you came by the assets is what has landed you in the grips of law enforcement agencies. And whether even you bought it with your own precious hard-earned money, you are still accountable, you are still liable to an inchoate offense. And if to that, people who were just suspected, the presumption of innocence, you know, Article 19(2)(c) of the Constitution presumes all accused persons or suspects to be innocent until they prove they admit guilty or they are proven guilty.
In Ghana, it's not like that.
Wuntumi was presumed innocent at Article 19(2)(c), but his bail conditions were not reviewed. Hanan was presumed innocent at Article 19(2)(c), but his bail conditions were not reviewed. The wife of Hanan was presumed innocent under Article 19(2)(c), but their bail conditions were not reviewed. Edugwahi was presumed innocent, but they are under Article 19(2)(c).
He went to court.
You see, he went to court.
Exactly.
He went to court.
Oh, cousin.
Litigated with the state.
Oh, cousin.
Caused a variation. But that's why we didn't take off an eye. See, I am happy that when the disciples met on the street, when the disciples met on the street,
maybe politicians should start getting.
I am telling the good people of Ghana that if you live in the street, you must live with the street very well. That when.
But who to me is a street person?
Yes.
I mean, he called for his people.
MPs sitting on the floor in front of you.
He's not a street person. He's a forest person.
You see, upon all the assembling of MPs sitting on the street of Yoku, the conditions were not reviewed. So Shatawale, congratulations. You are the man of the street, and that's we pray that the good
let me give my question that you can
continues to stay in order to protect the national purse, in order to protect the assets of the state that we all desire of. We are praying that the consumers get better service, essential services. Once we set this good precedent, it will guide managers of the economy to be able to present so that we were able to accumulate a lot of resources to serve the people of Ghana well.
There was something you said when AFOAKWAH was speaking. You mentioned that you've been advocating for statutes to be
enacted on bail.
Enacted on bail. Okay. Now I want to tie this into what the OSP within the week also said, that the office believes that even with the constitution, there should be a full chapter that speaks to corruption. Because I mean, in this is an issue that is linked to the proceeds. The proceeds of corruption, because the car in question is from the proceeds of corruption, from what they are saying.
Allegation for proceeds of crime.
Yes, no, the gentleman is in custody, so
yes,
that's the proceeds of crime.
Yes,
exactly.
Exactly. Okay, from crime. Yes.
Yes.
So. I mean, let's try and fuse the two.
I would want to keep the two schools a bit apart. You know,
the king of the street.
Oh, we all admirers of Shatta. I mean, I'm a personal admirer of Shatta. I can sing his songs back to back. You know, I find his music quite inspirational.
I'm
an admirer. I mean, I listen to his music, I find his music to be quite inspirational. He's different in his approach to things. But you see, I speak also as a former prosecutor, and the issue of there's a balance. You see, when you are investigating categories of crimes, the issue of bail has never been an instrument of punishment. That's always what the law has frowned against. Bail is literally to guarantee that the accused person or the suspect will stand up or turn up for trial.
It's always available for trial.
It's always available for trial. And even upon conviction, where if he appeals, it is even available for persons who have been convicted and sentenced but are on appeal. Bail, in certain circumstances, bail is made available and the conditions are there. If, for example, you are going to serve, by the time you complete your appeal, you have served fully your sentence. Then the appeal becomes nugatory. Because if, for example, I'm convicted and sentenced to 3 months, and the appeal would be heard after the 3 months, you understand? It is one of the criteria by which an appellate court can grant me bail pending my appeal, even though I'm a convicted person. So it's a very important tool that seeks to balance the rights of an accused person, even a convict, as opposed to what the law, because the state is demanding punishment, you understand? And then the accused person is also saying that, look, even where I've been convicted, or even before I'm convicted, let me have my liberty, you understand? For the investigator, it is always easy for him if he has you in custody every day, so he can see your face and ask you further questions as and when he wants to ask you. That's the world of an investigator. An investigator would always want to keep you once you have been accused and he has easy access to you. He will prefer you to be in police cells. That alone, sometimes, and we've had situations where statements have been taken from accused persons at midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. So the system is such that you are presumed, first and foremost, the principle is you are presumed innocent until proven guilty, as my friend stated. Secondly, bail, as you said, is to guarantee that you would attend to the investigation, if it's an investigation, or you attend to trial, if it's at the court level. The discretion as to how much to set as a bail bond, you understand, has to be regulated, in my humble opinion. Because there must be a balance between what the investigative body, especially for the investigative bodies, is when it comes to the courts, even though there's no statute in terms of the bail bond, they have guidelines. You understand? And so when the court grants you bail and you think it's unreasonable, you go through the court process. And there's statute to guide the discretion, the exercise of the discretion. Even that, we still, for those who are progressive, and I think and those who teach the law and are progressive in the academics and all that, we are calling for even that to be regulated by more regulation when it comes to the issue of even what the courts administer. How much more the investigative bodies? Because it is at that level that abuse can take place if you are not careful. But the investigative bodies will also argue that, look, we need to be able to guarantee that even when you are, because if I'm investigating an accusation that, look, you have stolen 120 million cedis, you understand, or 200 million cedis. That's the accusation. We cannot have a situation where the bail bond is set at 2 million cedis. Because if at the end of our investigations we have a credible docket and we are able to produce evidence that indeed you stole 200 cedis, how would the state recover the 200 cedis? So then we have to set a bail bond that balances the accusation as against your liberty. And who is to make that decision? You understand? Because, of course, other factors may come into play, especially when you are dealing with politically exposed persons. Today, you may be in opposition. Tomorrow, you may be in government. So all of us must learn lessons in respect of the exercise of the discretion. And that is why when it is captured in law, that, look, if the accusation borders on an amount, let's say 5 million, this is the range of bail bonds that must be met. If the person, 20%. Exactly. If it's a cash, you can have cash elements of it, 10%, 5%. If the person is of a certain category, maybe an MP, it should be self-recognized. That must be in regulation. You understand? It makes it so that the exercise of discretion is less, especially when it comes to the issues of liberty. So I can understand the investigative bodies, because you also don't want a situation where once you trigger the investigative element and you tell the person that you're under investigation, if you don't place some restrictions, the person can run away. Even people who are on trial have run away. They apply to court and tell the court that, oh, I'm going for a medical, and the person will run away. You understand? So in those situations, the conditions for bail must be such that the person will appear, you understand, for trial. Now, in the case of Shatawale, especially when we are dealing with international mutual legal assistance, where we have these agreements and all that, and this alleged crime happened out of Ghana. The issue of money laundering, okay, goes beyond just the commission of the crime. You want to punish not just those who have committed the crime, but you want to, what we call, gouge out the proceeds of the crime, so that it becomes a disincentive. Because there are people who, yes, they may commit a crime and hide the assets and the proceeds of the crime. So they do the time of maybe 5 years and come back and enjoy the proceeds of the crime. They put it in people's names. So let's say I take 100 million cedis of state money. Then I put it 10, share it amongst all of you.
Give me 50.
I give me 50. And then at the end of the day, after I put on trial, maybe 2 years, 3 years, I come back, I still have 100 million cedis, having shared it amongst. So beyond just putting the person or fight on convicting the person. What you want to do is to chase the proceeds of the crime and ensure that as much of it is brought in back into the coffers of the state, and even in some instances to compensate the victims of the offense. So you want to discourage people from enjoying the fruits of crime. That is why you trace the assets. So if indeed, as the story is that, look, this Lamborghini or whatever it is a proceed of a criminal act, then it becomes a very serious matter. And so I think that you must understand the reason why, and perhaps, as the Yoko said, because of his standing, the initial position was, let's see whether this matter can be solved, without publicity. Because, of course, investigators don't actually like publicity. If you notice, Mr. Revolt doesn't even give interviews. He doesn't even grant interviews. Because investigators, by nature, are not supposed to be giving interviews because you don't want to expose the way you do your work. DS is to build a docket and give it to the Attorney General to prosecute. That's the primary duty of Yoko. DS is not to be in the media giving interviews, giving speech. In fact, left to the how often do you hear the FBI giving press releases? The only time they'll tell you, maybe you've picked up this person or this person is that. They rarely give, because if you do that, you even alert people of maybe he's not the only person involved. Maybe there are others involved in this particular issue. Of course, his personality and all that, and of course, you take into a lot of, if the Yoko premises is surrounded and you look at the level of crowd and all that, sometimes you use the bill to, the person is not, if you are guaranteed that the person is not going anywhere, let him go. And of course, you know that you are still, when the time is right, when your evidence is clear and you have established all the, if he needs to be extradited, why not? But I think that in all this, these institutions will also begin to develop protocols on dealing with politically exposed persons and public figures, because you need to be able to control the narrative. So if, for example, you pick up somebody like that and you potentially think that you need to give out some information to let the public be aware, then you need to give it. You need to give it, because if he controls the narrative, then you become reactionary. And at that time, maybe it will be too late. But if you have been able to get that, but of course, they will also say that if they haven't done the initial interrogation, how would they get the information to be able to put out anything? Okay. So they need to look at these things.
I've had the view of the lawyers. Now let me come to the...
Let me come in quickly on what...
30 seconds, so then I come to...
On the enactment of a law to regulate bail, we have an existing investigative bodies. We have an existing one. Once we have an existing one for the courts under Section 96.
Yes, that's for the courts.
It comes to say that there is an existing legal regime that they are obliged to also comply, because for the investigative bodies, they also exercise administrative discretionary powers under Article 296. If I am wrong.
Yes,
and you see,
the
and Article 296 says that in the exercise of discretionary powers, it should not be arbitrary or capricious. Are you getting it? So if you are exercising that in an arbitrary or capricious manner,
but everybody will say, what is capricious for one person? Exactly.
For one person might not be the same for another.
You will join me with one voice that,
but I think you should join
this progressive.
Me, I like the current system.
He said he will benefit from it in future.
Ghana will benefit. Ghana will benefit. Ghana will be the... I like that. We should keep it as it is. And go.
So, the infographics on what the OSP is advocating for.
Just a short comment on the OSP.
The shatter bits to take the better of you.
The OSP, you see, I think the OSP wants, this constitutional provision that talks about unexplained wealth.
Yes.
That if you cannot explain if a public person and they do the investigations and you cannot explain your source of income, there's no regime that actually actualizes that. So that is very, very important because of the... But there's always been a debate out there between a presumption, our law rests on the presumption of innocence. And so I don't have any obligation to explain anything. If you believe that as a state, you have evidence of my committing wrongdoing, you have to prove it. As opposed to the reverse, where in certain circumstances, for example, possession of narcotics, if you are in possession of narcotics, the presumption is flipped. Of course, you need to show that you know the nature and quality of the substance that you had. But generally, in certain instances, your possession of the item automatically makes you guilty of a crime because it's based on the act, not any issue of, when you commit a criminal act, you have to have two elements generally, the mental element and the physical element. But in certain instances, it is just the physical element alone that is enough to make you...
Those are the strict liability offenses.
Strict liability offenses. But in this debate, especially for the anti-corruption agencies, they want to move the onus of proof to the person who is being investigated. It's a debate we must have because you have to be careful. The simple fact that somebody has become a public servant does not mean that he's a criminal. And so if we change that law or if we change that presumption, it makes their work easier. But it also means that we are turning our criminal jurisprudence on its head. And we need to balance the interest.
I mean, it's being advocated for by this constitutional reform by the OSP. And as Nipapo mentioned, in even our constitution where we talk about the unexplained wealth, it's how do we go about lifestyle audits?
I don't understand why we are making this so difficult. Look, and every country you are innocent, most countries you are innocent until you are proven guilty. I'll use a typical example of the United States. Okay, when I'm driving a $300,000 car, okay, and they look at me, and they know that there's no way this guy's job would qualify him to make $500,000. Yeah, it's as simple as that. I don't understand we are making it so difficult. Show me, last year, what was your tax returns?
Your profit.
No, you see, I don't understand why we should make it so difficult. I'll tell you my own personal story. Me, small boy from Ghana, in Washington, 1 year, I decided to claim something that I wasn't supposed to claim on my tax returns. Okay, they gave me the money. I came to chop and enjoy in Ghana. 3 years later, I was audited. All they said was I should bring receipts or evidence of what I claimed that they gave me the money, and the case should be quashed. I didn't have anything. They slapped an additional 4,000. What do I call it? No, apart from the money.
A point,
levy.
Okay.
Okay, fine. I ended up paying $7,000 for $3,000. I didn't do it again. You get my point? So I don't understand why we try to be so...
Your method you are proposing is quite different from what the OSP was to do.
No. The OSP is talking about people in public office.
So they want to tell
it should not be in public. It should be every Ghanaian. It should be every Ghanaian. It shouldn't be people who are only in public office. All I'm saying is, just like these cars that we are talking about, the guy is driving a Rolls Royce or a Lamborghini or a Bentley.
So that should trigger GRA.
Whether GRA or whatever it is, somebody needs to ask you. Okay, I don't have a problem. You say you live in a $1 million apartment.
Straight away.
Somewhere.
Somebody. So the other agencies should be
the other agencies should be able to tell you that, fine, if you have a $1 million house, that means you should make more than 1 million. Because you cannot just make 50,000. You can't even qualify for a loan, even to do that. You cannot qualify for a loan. This is a country that we don't do things right. When I'm planning to buy a house in America, the first thing they look is my income and my credit report. These are the two things that they look. To see that if I'm able to pay the loan that I'm asking for. Credit worthy. It's as simple as that. Okay, we are trying to make things so complicated, and I don't get it. People are getting away with murder. Now that we are doing a Ghana card and all those things, that should be able to tie you into the networks for them to upload and find out what you are In the United States, all they need is my social security number. Once they put the social security number, from the time that I entered America till the time that I die, everything that I've done in America will show up. I don't understand why Ghanaians are always trying to reinvent the wheel. Somebody has done it. In an art class, if you can't copy, means you are dumb. Trace. And we can't trace in Ghana. We are always trying to create things and make it so complicated. The opposite approach, yes, it's in the right way. But the question is, it shouldn't be just politicians or people who are in public office. Every Ghanaian should, otherwise, private people, I give it as example. Like my own sister, she's Lerapa. Okay. I mean, it's ridiculous. Right? Reason for leaving the court, allowing her to take the money. It's ridiculous. I'm not saying that she did anything, but she should prove.
That's what Kofi is saying, that the law as it is now does not require her rather to prove. You should prove that what she got.
GRA. We have GRA now. GRA should have gone to her and said that fine. You claim ABCD. What's the evidence? You say your brother. We go to your brother. Master, what tax did you file last week? Even if I give any excuse that the money was given to me by my son in America.
Like the car was bought on the street.
The tax man would ask me, the man that I say I bought the car from, he should come and show how he made the money. Okay, we are allowing people to go away with things that they are not supposed to. All I'm saying is, let's not make special laws. We are not in George Orwell's time. Animal farm, 2 legs good, 1 leg bad.
4 legs.
Everybody, every Ghanaian, if they flag you, people are in other countries that they are doing kukukululu and they are not flagged yet. But at a certain time that you are flagged, you should be able to prove as to where and the source of the money. I hear, and you see these things, I don't get it. At the vetting, okay, Mr. AFOAKWAH telling us that about where he lives, and I know how much. I know where. There's no he lives in East Airport. If I tell you where he lives, if I tell you the price of the land there, you'll be amazed. And the man is telling me that he cannot even tell us as to how much rent. How much did he say he was paying? Where? Maybe later, but at the day that he was voted.
We need to watch it.
No, let's watch it.
I remember he submitted evidence of his tenancy agreement.
When? The day that he was
the day he was being vetted.
No, listen. When he was asked.
No, I mean, there was an agreement. Agreement was between two. Yes.
So what he did was he produced the owner of the house. He produced the rental agreement between himself and the person.
Okay, fine. The rental agreement. He can even decide to say that the person allows him to stay there for free. No, I'm just saying. I'm just making a case. But the owner of that house, okay, should have been brought in. You see, that's how they do things. You lawyers and you legal people. And then no, I'm just saying. So
the fire
we need to wrap up so I come to INUSAH and move to
They will go to that person and say, listen, you don't want to come after you. If you dare, we will go into this tax thing in America. If you dare the government, they will come after you for taxes. That is the only way that they come after you, that it will not be political witch hunt or co-minini that we do in Ghana.
I'll come back to you.
Somebody is waiting for the time to change.
You have the last take on this? Yes.
Yes, I'm not a very quiet person, but indeed my pain is really...
I can understand.
Numbing my energy this morning. My uncle Kofi Capital 2 is also close to me, and he's a firebrand, so... Yes, Kojo, I think the case with Shatta Wale, I see some form of poor brand management in there. When the case erupted, I first heard it on social media that Shatta Wale was alleging that Yoko was acting in a capricious manner But I thought that it was wise for him to use his management to write a press release, right, to counter what Yoko said, rather than coming out in public and saying things that might be used against you tomorrow in court if the investigation furthers.
I mean, he went out to mention how much he bought it.
How much he bought it and all that.
That is where the tax issues also came up.
Exactly. You understand? And my point is that we are talking about a stolen car here. I know that globally there is a database for stolen cars, and it's being shared amongst all harbors across the world. How did this stolen car in the first place get to Ghana, shipped by the shipper, cleared by any agent here, and then sold to Shatawale? We should also question our institutions, because that's why we have the Customs Department, and that's why we have all these state institutions that are supposed to safeguard these issues.
Even national security at the port.
National security at the port.
Preventive.
At a point in time, we were told that some ECG cables got missing at the port. You remember?
We found them. They said they were not
those of national security operatives showing us cables.
Some at the
sold at a smelter at Charles. So which is which? Because you see, which is which? We have to be truthful as a country. Then let's go back to the OSP matter. And I'm glad that we have two learned lawyers sitting on this platform. I believe that in our country, corruption, the word corruption in our laws is quite ambiguous. There is no law that properly defines corruption. It is an ambiguous expression in our law. And under the aegis of the great transformational plan proposed by the Movement for Change led by Alan Tremantin, Honorable, we have advocated that in place of the OSP, we should elevate the OSP to an anti-corruption czar and then move his mandate from the office of the Attorney General and have him be independent. That's the first step. The second step is that we need to now look at all the legislations that seek to be talking about corruption and consolidate all of them and rationalize it into one holistic bill or regulation or law that is talking about corruption and defines corruption and how we will tackle corruption, irrespective of which person is found wanting in this act. The third is to now have an administrative review of the agencies that have overlapping mandates in the fight against corruption. Today I hear OSP is fighting corruption. Yoko seems to be fighting corruption. The BNI seems to be fighting corruption. The police, the CID department, is also fighting corruption. So it begs a question, who is actually fighting corruption?
All of them can.
So they have overlapping mandates. And we believe that it creates a lot of administrative inefficiencies. And we've seen issues where a suspect will be arrested to BNI, and then no, they'll say that Yoko will call and say, no, this is our case. We need him at Yoko. I'm sure counsel would testify to what I'm saying. So we need to rationalize these issues and have one agency, which should be the anti-corruption czar in place of the OSP, to fight corruption, be it in public office or any private individual. And I believe that if we are able to tackle that, we would have issues, mitigators as far as corruption is concerned. Now, lastly, my brother, Kojo, now, the politics of the day. Who appoints the OSP? It's also a question that Ghanaians are concerned about. And that is why, under the aegis of the Great Transformational Plan, the Yellow Book, or the Wisdom Book, and according to the wisdom of St. Alan, we have said that Ghana...
Is a saint now.
Oh, well, he's always a saint.
Okay, right.
St. Alan, I mean, according to the book of St. Alan. We believe currently, and we have realized that there should be some reforms in our governance system. Ghana currently runs a unicameral parliamentary system, which is highly polarized and partisan. And we've seen the gridlocks in parliament that has propagated inefficiencies in our governance system. We are proposing that Ghana transitions from its unicameral parliamentary system to a bicameral parliamentary system, a second chamber. Now, this second chamber will be made up of non-state actors and non-political actors, like my uncle Kofi Kapito, can be a member of that chamber, who is championing
But the Council
CPA.
of State is supposed to be something like that.
Article 89 of the 1992 Constitution is not effective. And in place of this second chamber, we would abolish the Council of State. Because we've seen that the Council of State has been more of a protege of the executive. And we've seen how political parties have influenced the Council of State. The president also has the power to appoint some people into the Council of State. And we know that, of course, the executive will abuse that mandate and appoint people who are in bed with them. That is why we are saying that this unicameral parliamentary, bicameral parliamentary system that we're trying to introduce or propose to the government should have traditional authorities, our youth-based organizations, PWDs, trade unions, private sector captains, right? The media and CSOs would have the mandate to appoint heads of independent constitutional bodies, not the executive. Right? And so we're talking about the EC chairperson, the IGP, the OSP. If tomorrow such body will be done in a manner that will be devoid of some form of partisan affiliation, which we've seen what partisan politics has done to our country. So that is the wisdom of the movement for change.
We'll have a bit of time more later to discuss this proposal into details and see.
In any other jurisdiction, he will lose a lot of sponsorship because he can't protect his image. And you don't want to be associated with any actor or any person with bad news like this. No, you're not getting my point. No, you see, what I'm saying is, look, Tiger Woods had an extramarital affair. He didn't kill anybody. Good behavior clause. No, I'm just saying. That is good corporate governance.
No, but again, it goes and Senior said something here. If you are signing an agreement to be an ambassador, there are certain clauses that are supposed to. If it has not been put in there, you cannot.
It is in there.
How do you know?
It is in there because you see, let me tell you what. You can't just sign an artist. Okay, we can't be doing things like we are in the jungle.
Okay, Kofi, we can explain this now.
He has his appeal.
Okay, so Kofi.
No, but I have an appeal.
Gentlemen,
okay,
Kofi.
I have an appeal. If you like, let them take me to
Mr. Capito.
You will see the amount of consumers that will come there. But that it shouldn't be.
Mr. Capito, I understand.
I committed something. I should face it. If you want to come and show solidarity, fine. But don't come and misbehave.
Kofi, why are farmers not happy with the 64% increase?
Oh, you've spoken my language. My grandmother suffered this thing for the longest time. And all cocoa farmers. The government, cocoa farmers are the only people in Ghana who are not allowed to export their own products on their own.
Now the gold board has also brought, so gold is also part now.
Okay, let's say gold, but still people are taking gold.
The state provides the service.
Yeah, but you see, it is my money.
No, but it is.
You're not getting my money. It's my money that you bought a spraying with. You give me cocoa extension, whatever, and then they come and adjust the scale and take advantage of me. Look, cocoa farmers, we need to treat them right, honestly, because I've always advocated that they should be allowed, just like timber merchants, just like anybody doing any cash project in Ghana is allowed to ship whatever that they are producing, find their own markets and everything. Okay, the question is, if the government decides to take charge, then there should be a fair way of compensating them.
There's a formula for it.
No, there's a formula. But the formula, listen, cocoa farmers for the longest time has been, quote unquote, excuse me this morning, people who are not well lettered. Okay? So somehow they don't have people speaking on their behalf. As we have other institutions that have, well, like AGI, Ghana, is it the industry?
Association of Ghana Industry.
Yes.
You finish. I don't want to.
No, I'm just saying.
I don't want to stop your flow.
All I'm saying is, yes, government has a role to play. I'm not disputing it, but the plight of the cocoa farmer or the challenges of the cocoa farmer should be looked again. If it is spraying, give them the money. They can go and buy their own spray. Give them the full cost. Let them take the money. If it's about any other, look, even the so-called spraying and fertilizer has become a political thing. Used by governments. Used by governments, where even if they claim that you are not even their stronghold, when it comes to distribution of fertilizers, cocoa farmers are shortchanged in some areas. Let's do this thing as Ghanaians. If true government needs to do and do what he's doing, there's no problem. But the cocoa farmer's voice or his reason for not being happy should be given an opportunity to be heard. I don't like people, it's all part of protests. They are trying to let you know that they are not happy. This is part of negotiations. They can do this and then they'll be called to the table. But all I'm saying is, let's not make it look like the fact that how come all these years we didn't go after gold, and then now
that's the reasons why. So I would come to Dr. Sai. My question to you on this is this issue about cocoa smuggling to neighboring countries. Is it a reality or is it just a bargaining tactic being used by the farmers to force the hand of the decision makers?
Thank you very much. I think this one, we should all know that it's a reality. This is not the first time we've had this happening. I mean, whether price increase or not, we've been hearing that it does happen along the borders of Ghana. But whichever way you look at it, there is a need for us to do something about their prices. And now the awareness is there. Previously, cocoa farmers did not know what was happening. And now the awareness is there. So I think that what the government should do should engage them the more, explain things to them, and let us be open and transparent when it comes to pricing of cocoa products, especially with the advent of gold board and the likes. The awareness is there, and if we are not very careful, it would have dire consequences on our economy. Because remember, the cocoa that we sell out there is gradually reducing, and I don't know Ghana's level, whether we are still number 1, number 2, number 3, it is gradually dwindling. And the earlier we do something about it, the better. I would also want to say that we should depoliticize the issue of cocoa, especially anything that backs our economy. We should depoliticize it, because if we taint it with politics, that would be the end of this country. So on the cocoa price thing, I would strongly propose and recommend that government engages with their leadership, be transparent to them, with them as far as the pricing is concerned, and let government know why it cannot pay ABCD and why it has paid ABCD. The reason is that if you politicize it, then they will look at the political angle. It shouldn't seem to be that we are settling political scores. We should look at the realities on the ground and look at the potential consequences on the economy. If we fail to pay a certain price, what is going to happen? Are we going to increase smuggling? Smuggling on its own is criminal, but we should not also do actions and inactions that can push them to smuggle. So I think that we should be open, depoliticized, and transparent as far as the payment of good prices to cocoa farmers is concerned.
INUSAH, let me come to you before I move to my politicians. I mean, movement for change. He says you are not. No, he said movement for change. They said they are a movement.
But they are doing politics.
They said they are a movement. So once they have said they are a movement, political movement. My question to you is: the pricing window for cocoa, should it be done more frequently, or the current regime we have in place from the point of view of the movement for change? The current regime is is enough?
I mean, Kojo, I believe that cocoa farmers are not given what they are due. I mean, let's look around the world. We have a global, let me take the chocolate industry, for example. And this is what I call the cocoa paradox in Ghana's situation. The chocolate industry, as of 2024, was worth $130 billion, which by 20... That's even chocolate. No, I'm coming.
There's a difference.
No, I'm making a point here. If you allow me to make my point. The projection is that by 2030, the chocolate industry will reach $170 billion. Ghana, together with Ivory Coast, collectively, under the cocoa initiative between the two countries, that partnership, we supply about 60% of the world's cocoa beans. How much share of even this chocolate market do we even get in the first place? So this is a paradox. And I'll be surprised that the NDC and the MPP will sit down here today, since the inception of our Fourth Republic, to do politics over cocoa bag prices. Meanwhile, we have the resources. Go to Switzerland. Tell me of any cocoa tree in Switzerland. Go to Belgium. Tell me of any cocoa tree in Belgium. So this is the paradox I'm talking about. So if my brother in the NDC or the MPP, especially the NDC, who is trying to interject and try and create a scene that what I'm saying is different.
I agree with him on the point of processing. The value addition it's important.
Let me tell you.
That's why your CPC and your PBC should be revived.
We've had issues with this
Allow me to
industry.
say my cocoa direct, just like any person.
Let's focus. Your viewers are paying attention to you. Please focus.
We've had issues in this industry for far long, and we've been playing politics. This is, I would say, a very, very mediocre way of politicizing cocoa bags. If you increase a bag to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and so what? You've not increased your share in the global chocolate market industry per se, because we don't process these beans locally here. We do not process it much enough to be able to take advantage of the chocolate market. Today, we have the brands like King's Bite. I know it's state-owned, right?
Yes.
Now, King's Bite...
That's CPC, right?
Yeah, King's Bite is state-owned. Can you compare King's Bite, their packaging, the way they market themselves, to other companies in Belgium and all that?
Like Cadbury's.
What are we doing to support... What are we doing to support our local entrepreneurs? We've seen a lot of young people start up businesses in this sector. What are the financing packages available to them to support them, innovate, and add value to the cocoa beans? We're talking about smuggling. If we create an internal demand for cocoa beans locally here and process it here, which farmer or which smuggler will try and smuggle it out of the country? Nobody will do that. And the farmers can benefit directly from even selling to industries that they would feed with their cocoa beans. So let us look at how we can turn from that mediocre way of politicizing cocoa and look at how we can add value and even cap the number of cocoa beans we export together with Ivory Coast, because we have the power of supply. If we control 60% of global supply of cocoa beans, we can be able to form a kind of cartel and monopolize the system and be powerful, just like the Arabs are powerful in OPEC. We can have a cocoa form of OPEC in the world.
Right.
And let me add lastly that Cocoa Board in itself needs some reforms. We do not believe that the current policy, which they've not implemented for 2 years, the external cocoa syndication loan, should be abolished. It doesn't make sense, Kojo, that I am a farmer in Ghana. I sell my cocoa beans to you in cedis. Why do you have to go and borrow US dollars, come and change it in cedis, and then come and buy it from me, and then now change dollars locally in the economy to amortize your loan? It does not make sense. It is a lazy approach that the previous governments of the NDC and the MPP have used to stabilize the city. In form of the cocoa syndication loan, the other alternative they can have is to raise local cocoa bonds. talk to the central bank. Raise cocoa bonds. Right? This is a financing mechanism that you can use. You raise them in cedis. I believe that this is a smart, innovative way of dealing with the depreciation of our cedi and how we can stabilize our currency. And this is a proposition and proposal that we have hammered on from the Movement for Change for so long. But I'm glad that since we started advocating about this matter, Cocoa Board has not dared try to raise any external cocoa syndication loan for these 2 years. And I hope that they should be able to scrap it out of their policy books so that going forward, we would have a very innovative way of going.
Okay, AFOAKWAH. So then I would go to the and give the. I understand the vice president for the is it the cooperative Ghana Cocoa Farmers Cooperative would want to join us. So once he's in here, we would see. But yes, definitely we'll discuss this more next week. Then I would give.
I'm as worried as my colleague farmers. I'm also a cocoa farmer, and we were promised heaven last year that a bag of cocoa was going to be bought not less than 6,000 Ghana cedis.
The man himself who was is being promised. The man who was under heaven, who was part of the heaven. How can you be part of heaven and be promised heaven?
I was happy. I was happy when the current agri minister, who is also a friend, promised us that a bag of cocoa should be purchased at not less than 6,000 Ghana cedis, and that when they have the mandate, they will make sure that they improve upon the price of cocoa. We were praying favorably for the NDC administration when they assumed the mantle of leadership, just to inform us that with the new cocoa pricing window, they have increased the 64 kilogram bag of cocoa with just a paltry 128 Ghana cedis. And in fact, my eyes were filled with tears, seeing that we have been misled as farmers of the land, seeing that our nation does not take into consideration our contribution toward the sustenance and development of the Ghanaian local economy. Kojo, if you've traveled far in this country, you see most of the prominent buildings were all as a result of the financing from cocoa farmers. You remember, to support the development of our nation, Ghana, West Africa, Africa, and the world as at large. And yet, if cocoa farmers like us are treated this way, without due recognition from the state, as far as what we are deserving of is concerned, then it means that it is no mean that people are selling their cocoa farms to illegal miners and cutting them down to plant rubber and other trees, declining the production regime of Ghana. Where are they smuggling the cocoa to? If we are to ask. Those in the western part of Ghana smuggle the cocoa to Ivory Coast. And I believe that we have the Cote d'Ivoire Ghana Cocoa Initiative. The secretariat or the diplomatic secretariat that hosts this initiative is just here, behind here.
Okay, so please give me a minute. I understand the gentleman has joined us, so please give me a minute.
And just this morning, I've been informed that my cocoa farm is under attack by illegal miners.
I would
my cocoa farm, I have just been informed. I showed a message to me. Just be informed that my cocoa farm is under attack by illegal miners. In Obuasi.
It's part of the new law that we are going to
in Obuasi. And the police is there, watching. My cocoa farm.
Okay.
So it's under attack by illegal miners.
Okay, gentlemen, hold on for me. Good morning, Theophilus Tamaklo.
Good morning, sir.
I understand you would want to speak Cree.
You got me like that.
Okay. But just let me be able to call there.
Oh, I'm here I'm a cocoa farmer, so I speak my local language.
Please say that again.
I'm a cocoa farmer, so I want to speak my local language.
Okay, please go ahead.
If everybody can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. But
okay. Yeah, movie here at Chiano Pay. I don't want to make Ghana for politician, NDC, MPP, whatever, and Ethiopia. But me kasa no pay we me NDC na me MPP ni I'm a cocoa farmer. So the way our politicians money young cocoa farmers no. In fact, we don't like it. That not me 64 kilograms. Cocoa na can want some now, the couples me, and 64 kilograms. Some 64 kilograms there, multiplied by this amount of price now, what they are buying. 64 kilograms, 62.5 kilograms, 62.5 kilograms. And no one can move here, Ediama Yanko. Some working 64.4, 64, yeah. That means I born a modern company, maybe I buy no, will be a young cocoa. What I say? Into a prayer, because I'm buying cocoa board, and we are seeing that here, say. Meda present, Meda was to be present with me, I didn't have to platform. Okay? The better me, I'm buying it here, say. Then cocoa for the young for that have you move. Okay? The cannot ever to hold more. My mentor, I have not penny scholarship, pension scheme. Kodape, cocoa rose. Even Panya, UNUSAH. Sanyo Medina, I can't want to see any cocoa. So, that 62 cocoa and every point I coverage member is 10 kilograms. Is it not 12.5 kilos? I knew for this I'm quite good. Right now, I'm not going to watch them. If you are for Yaniabre, because this time was say, I buy this a intimacy. Ya take Yansika, could that pick, you mean kind of baby, me question it. A scholarship for no Yanimco for your jubilee. Almost me what this baby of where make a scholarship for no, we will never cook that, and then now for it. Me started a media cocoa, none was 19 years, and a media cocoa, and me started 46 years. See, 19 years, 46 years. Me could take cocoa for not 45 acres. Yana Mibia, and then just one a me. And then just one a me. 2022, we are Central Regional Best Cocoa Farmer. Recently, almost man a draw. Nami de kume for 2023, 2024, 25. A grow 1 liter. And I'm with your mommy. It is better than I buy any Ghana cocoa board say. So, could that fix the kind of matia to go to mono? Do not bend the air yet. Do not bend the air yet, dear my cocoa. It is a magnetica. I'm for Pedro. I'm trying to a photo swap. Me pass it. I don't know whether a kumua ana. Then I buy the cup in the name of cocoa farmers. Then I buy beer bar. All trying cocoa porta. And one of the buy no, the piano, grinding up better than 24 say, almost 70%. Then it's almost 70%. Cocoa, and yes, 64 kilograms, and 62.5 with Ghana with my age. They say, I buy no more in that diet. I buy that I didn't cocoa cream, but you what I'm to come free with that. Then she ran up and pay over the gate. Musume Bacope, Yan serious. I'll move, I'll move you, baby. About ordinary fabrics that say you will on time camper or not on pump. What you see cut to the pollination, pruning, those things will be my Lina and Maso, Cocoa Rosa, what you see cut of the Mayamayan. Mumra Miame craft, you can change. Mumma say a quiet number to super. I came for. Nipa area, I'm not moving. Now, young cocoa, we see come with the mostly because of dollar rate now back from Mutino. Matches so I didn't round it up in the pro in the Monteso. I didn't a session officer, no, almost pro in the Monteso. A session officer 3 years, no, cocoa, no, pay. My year can go put it time and says that 3 years, no, most of the town. If I say, I'm Ghana cocoa, but he has 3 years, no. Only the movie of money, over Bansua, not about the Juma. Every mobile money on call from on your shade. I'm telling you, and I may catch them with say, Ghana buying TSA. Those 3 years, no, we are wanting them, said we don't want them. Obi Uncle Fee, so we got the Jumadia, Nipano, almost to motor for Muslim. So, I see anything. Kokobot, the BN Homini, Homusa, or BN Homini. Me are praying to this government say, no.
Hello, Mr. Theophilos. What's your name?
It's on car.
Okay, Pacho. Me nkrofo a one more friend no ye no bedi nkomo we chi ni ahese nyame adom na se bia next week ubetumi enya ho ananka waba na waba studio ni enya edi sa nkomo we ye hu se wonsem na wo ka no emu odre mu so ehwam adaji me say ye bebo modern ye no edi nkomo we chi ni ahese nyame adom ase next week e bia wo na obenya obi a ofi mu cooperative mu obetu abeka ye ho wa ha nanka same way ya pense mu ye pa next week Saturday say wadaroma
next week Saturday I think that ya me kana anya mo den na mo invite me there
oh dabi emre onze ye pon be time ese ye pon be asama wo kan so emu odu ay say yenya adaje ye discuss ni ye intina ye pese ye
fine finally no me pese me government no ti ase say so this is kokokuyafo yes me na demonstration abaya na kokobare na jo a price near the more amutimi kokoko no amutimi cheme but me put this challenge there my government ni say see it na go buy e fum no this time amutimi e fum ya be pam wo mo ye amutimi pa ko bi fam ye kokokuyafo ye yo wa fum ye start say ye start we abebo no kokokuyafo eni abre eni abre anta because me ba enya palati no di oti baby or no see ye ni ba pa na obo ko de sama na no ada be
what for meti ase about ye be sere ma abotre kakra na ye ma we nkonko ye gidigidi bi na obi enkonko stop obi ka na enu so ebufu na obi atwe pa acho ye no be kasa wechi ye wi a ye no be di nkomo na ya hwese ne be ya aban no ene mu beba na yetumi enya nkita ho ebeboa yenya nti me nkrofo no be di nkomo na ya hwese ne be ya nyame adoma na what you say ye do beba ana so onye obi a okamo ho obetumi aba so ana obi owo nkran a obetumi abeka ye ho ana ye dedi sa nkomo why so viewers thank you that was Theophilos is the vice president for the Ghana Association or the Ghana Cocoa Farmers Cooperative and he expressed his concern, which I believe is the concern of the members of his cooperative, and we would discuss this cocoa issue more next week. We needed Nick Pakpo to speak to it, but we understand that if we do, he needs to extensively explain the situation on the ground, which we do not have the time to do that. Only I apologize for not being able to allow you to speak on this, but if you promise to be here next week, I promise that we'll pick up this.
That's the reason why I said you need time to explain, because there's the issue ranges from what the government inherited, you understand, the pricing regime, how we arrive at the price, you understand, and the factors that go into this particular calculation, all that. You can't explain that in a minute. And so I think that to do justice to the topic, we need time to be able to do that.
I agree. Thank you very much, Ini. And
I think I was speaking whilst you are letting.
No, so next week, if you also promise to be here.
Yeah, so I'm a cocoa farmer myself.
I understand.
Yes.
So your cooperative, your vice,
and
your vice president has spoken
my
for you.
vice president has spoken my word.
You are losing. So I'm actually closing early, so you can go and fight. So I'm closing early, so you can go and fight them.
So the government should send a task force there to clamp down the galamsey who are destroying my cocoa.
We'll look for the task force, the ones who attacked INUSAH. Now we know that they have muzzles. Yeah. Then they'll go with you to go and fight this for you. Viewers, thank you very much for your time. This was proudly sponsored by Bank of Africa, as close as a partner, as strong as a group, as close as a partner. Thank you very much. We apologize for the speed at which we ended. We see you next week.